Well, 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 look who it is. Good afternoon, good morning, hello, and happy Wednesday, everyone. Hello, welcome back. Yep, there we go. Let's turn that off. Welcome back to Ninja Pulse. This is Khan, coming at you live from Ninja Pulse Broadcasting Towers. Again, just me today, no Maya today, sadly. But who knows? You play your cards right, you might just see her later on this week. Maybe Friday, who knows? Who's to say? But welcome everybody, Moose, Shallow, Lily, Dryad, hey! Likes to play catch, good morning. Erin, how you doing? Stenya, hello. I had finally time for an exam break to enjoy some Ninja Pulls. Well, yeah, well, good luck, man. I hope that's all going well. And, yeah, everyone asking how do they go? No idea yet, still running like crazy. Time for the analysis. Only 2 weeks to go, well, all the best, man. Awesomest ruler. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for ruling so awesomely. Hey, Runza. Hello, hello. Gladius, when's NA servers back up? I don't know why you're asking me. I might as well ask you. Let me have a look at the... I mean, we're probably talking a couple of hours minimum. But I do not work for Zos. So I don't do any more than you do. It says until... Whoa! It says until 5 UK time. So that is 6 hours from now. Damn. Yeah, just looking at the... Hang on, let me show you guys. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Hello? There we go. Sorry about that. Maintenance for the week of December 1st in progress. So, 8 a.m. UTC to 12 p.m. EST. Now, I don't know why they flipped the... I don't know why they've... Oh, no, that does make sense, actually. So EU, UTC... Yeah, so 5 p.m. UK time. So it is going to be a long-ass wait. By the look of it. Anyway, enough about that. I do get questions like this a lot, so forgive me for being slightly prickly with the... I don't work for ZOS, I don't know. But yeah, glad to check for you. Sounds like major difficulties. I don't think so, it's just maintenance, man. But yeah, thank you, Awesomest Ruler. I am doing alright, thank you. Throat is getting better and better. Ready, steady, go? Go? Question mark? And Deru, guys, the server maintenance end earlier than say on site. They often do. But like I said, I do not work for the ZOS. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine. However, I am on PTS right now. Thought we could do some fun stuff on PTS. Talk about yesterday's announcement. Oh, yeah, they sometimes end earlier, but don't count on it. Exactly. How's Maya doing? Yeah, she's fine. Last time I saw her. I mean, who knows? Who can really say? Yeah, she's doing alright. Thank you very much. How am I on the server? This is the PTS, yeah. Time for Enshrouded. Hey! I could play some Enshrouded instead. No! Bad ruler. Now let's stick with ESO. I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but I thought the main thing would be to talk about what we learned yesterday. I put up a video. If you haven't seen it yet, get on that. Skinny Cheeks also did a nice video. Surprise, surprise. He and I have very similar things to say. But, yeah, it was an interesting announcement yesterday. I'm really sad that it came up a little bit later than I was hoping. I thought I would still be on when the announcement dropped and we'll be able to share it with you guys. But in the end, it was about 90 minutes later. So I'm glad I didn't stick around waiting for it. And yes, Gladius, indeed, PTS server. Plenty of writing time with no distractions. Thank you, Zos. Perfect, that. Khan, what's the capital of Zimbabwe? Oh, you see, I used to know this. I'm not just fronting. I would genuinely have known that a few years ago when I was reading The Economist every week. I've forgotten. I'm looking it up now, so I'm not trying to cheat. I'm gonna kick myself when I see this. Harare, God's sake. Yeah, see. No, I wouldn't have got that. You could have given me 10 minutes of racking my brains and I wouldn't have remembered. But yeah. I can feel my brain has shrunk since I cancelled my subscription to The Economist. I just didn't have time to read it every week anymore. It's crazy. Really want to loot this thing, but it's utterly pointless. See what's in there. Why are you asking, Moose? And thank you very much, Razorvale, for the follow. Tuxedo, what is PTS? Really? The public test server. Pretty normal. Most games like this have a test environment. Multiple test environments, obviously internal, but they'll have an external thing for players to use. Can I use my US server character? Yeah. Right now, I don't think your characters will be copied over. I think there's an EU copy. The way the PTS works is that they will clone the current NA server and then the EU server so that we can just use our characters to log in and test stuff. And right now, given that my main is here, this is an EU character, so you would probably have to make a new character to play. But that's fine, because PTS, let me just show you, you'd have to download it. It's a completely separate install. I know that's infuriating, over 100 gig, but if I delete this guy, create a new character, there are these templates here. I don't know if you can see that underneath the, you can barely see it underneath the ninjapulse.com, but yeah, you got templates there. If you just make sure when you create a character, you go top left and pick Update 48, maximum level, 3.6k CP Solstice. Then it will make a new character with all of this stuff, so you won't be starting from zero. We've even got videos on our YouTube channel about how to set up a PTS character very, very fast. Yeah, Aaron, have you not noticed this? This is a thing on live as well. I think it's something to do with the animation change. So that when I draw my weapons, her hair gets all excited and sticks out of the back. Like she hasn't washed it in a while. I definitely had a friend like that who wanted dreads, but didn't really look after them properly. And they got a little bit sketchy. You know, hippie dreadlocks. No good, man. I have a world map as a mousepad. Galantax, hello man, how you doing? And most just thought you were out personal Googler. Our personal Googler. Right. Moose, I get it. Moose taking the piss out of people who show up and ask me when maintenance is ending and things like that. I just took it as a neat excuse for trivia. But it is true. I hear content creators talking about this a lot. Why do people ask me things that take minimum 10 seconds for me to respond with when they could just Google it and have their answer in 3 seconds? Like, I don't really mind. It's fine, but it's a thing that creators talk about a lot. Streamers in particular. YouTube, less so, because, you know, no one's going to ask me, how long is maintenance in a YouTube comment? Although, I have pretty much you name it, and it does show up in a YouTube comment. Speaking of YouTube, Raptor, how's it going? You love the art of cinema? Indeed, yes. And Adam Luce, what are your thoughts on Stormcurst set? I like it very much. In the right situation, it's good. Why'd you ask? Adam Luce. It's very well known to work very well. The thing is, you're not generally stacking that much shock damage to really make the most of it. But you can, like, it's not difficult. And you get really good results with the set. So yeah, if you like the theme of it and you're not just looking necessarily to min-max, it's very, very good. You'll see some really terrific DPS from that thing. Dino, hello. Erin. She's a Nightblade. Of course she will not wash her hair. The darkness will wash it for her, yeah. Well, I'm not sure why she's dressed like this. Why? This is not what she looks like on the live server. Some shenanigans, but yeah. Actually, I wanted to show you guys something real quick. So I do not think... I already posted this in Discord. But because I logged into PTS... and I have some Crown Crate stuff here that I'm pretty sure I deleted these on live, but I obviously hadn't deleted them yet on PTS. So I got one of these in the latest Crown Crates, those Hidden Kindred Crown Crates. I deleted it for gems because I don't give a shit about housing. Well, I do, but I just don't do it. All the housing people are like, clutching at their pearls, no! But yeah, so... I got this, I thought about keeping it, I was very much aware of what it looked like, and then, check this out. Sorry, give me a moment. I'm just trying to get the video on the right screen here. Look at this. I'll turn down the volume. This is a real sculpture that just showed up a couple of days ago in near Joshua Tree in Southern California. This is a guy called King Vision who went out there. He happens to film art installations out in the desert. Apparently it's quite a popular thing around there. And this just showed up and I don't think this is ESO. On balance. But that does look a little bit like a Dremora, you know, with the Dremora with the big horns. Nice. Got the cameraman shadow there. But this looks quite a lot like the furnishing we just previewed, does it not? But obviously much, much bigger and with this crazy eye formation in the middle. I also noticed around here on this side... Like, I'll say it again. I don't think this is ESO. On balance. It just doesn't quite feel right. But it's fucking cool. It's something to do with the Game Awards. Someone is announcing something at the Game Awards to do with this. It could be Doom, the Dark Ages. I guess. Does look very doomy, doesn't it? But that... Just whoever did that, whichever studio is responsible, that is cool as fuck. And, yeah, there we go. So, the furnishing we just looked at in-game is a Vermina furnishing. Vermina and Perry are very much the theme of those Hidden Kindred Crown Crates. Hidden Kindred is the group of Dremora that, like, the pact that formed between those two Daedric princes. And they have armor which is pretty similar to this as well. So my mind really got racing when I looked at this. And a couple of people on the internet have also pointed out that this crocodile... has a very human-looking arm. And I've said, that's a Daedroth. It's Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think it's Elder Scrolls 6. It just doesn't look right. And Todd Howard has told us that's a long way off. And like I said, I'm not sure it's ESO either. I guess it could be, but... yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at this guy's channel real quick. It's a fucking cool sculpture. Look what else he did. Oh, that doesn't really work very well, but... Look at this, this is at nighttime. The fucking thing lights up. There's a smoke machine inside. What? Who made this? It's so cool. Anyway, enough about that. I just thought that was a really fun little tidbit. And Alatariel, thank you so much for the sub. Sorry we were distracted by creepy sculptures in the desert. As you do. Erelixy not working. Perhaps shock stacking is the new Sorcerer way of power. Well, to be fair, like, Sorcerer doesn't have a ton of cleave damage, right? And that's what this set was supposed to do. Sorcerer can perform amazingly well in trash pulls and everything, but this was just to give it a little extra something. If people have been sleeping on the Stormcurse set, then I'm really sorry to hear that. It's been out for years, and it's been amazing for all that time. But now with hybridization, you know what I mean, subclassing, you don't really see it used anymore. Its time has kind of been and gone. But it remains very good. Writhing Wall video guide, how interesting. Writhing Fortress, yeah. Get it right. Fred got Split Fiction, so we're playing that later. Yeah, one of my games of the year, that one. I think I voted for that as game of the year in the Steam Awards. Tuxedo, do you know how long till the servers are up? Are you serious? Be careful, Moose will start making fun of you again. But yeah, it says on the website 5 PM UK time. But no, I don't know. I don't know any more than you guys do. It might be earlier than that. It might be a good deal earlier than that. A couple of hours. Might be a little bit later than that. Moose, yes. Man, I imagine the Christian right-wing people going bonkers. They probably don't spend a lot of time in California, you know? California. But anyway, that was, I thought that was fun. Like I said, if I were a betting man, I'd say no. It's not an ESO stunt. But whoever did it and paid Jeff Keighley to promote it for them, they've got my attention. I'm keen to see what that is. And I'm loose thinking of running it on a Sorcerer build with Gravelord. Yeah, I mean, you can stack sources of shock damage pretty easily, so you can go with, if you've got Storm Calling already, obviously Lightning Flood, that's one. If you use Mage's Wrath in Trash, you know, it's a finishing move for splash damage. It's not amazing, but that does work. And of course, you can then run Blockade of Storms as well. That's already two things plus a spammable in the end. And you can do stuff like this. You can pre-buff with an Ulfsild. You can use Impulse as a trash spammable if it's a Magicka character. So you can get, and obviously you can have your Scamp in there as well. He deals shock damage as well. He only ticks every couple of seconds. But, you know, there's no cooldown on the Stormcaller set, Stormcursed. Sorry, that's what makes it good. It's that it has no cooldown. So if you stack enough sources of shock damage, you'll get a lot of procs out of it per second. You get multiple procs per second, and because it hits everything around, you can get a shitload of damage out of it. You really can. So yeah, Katoria just came, so this randomly appeared and no one knows what it means. Yeah, Jeff Keighley, I'm not his biggest fan. I like some of the stuff he did. I love some of the stuff he did back when he was a journalist. He basically had my dream job, you know, being a sort of not an investigative journalist, that's too fancy, but he made a really great documentary about the final 10 days before the release of Half-Life 2 at Valve. This is the stuff that Jeff Keighley used to do, but he got more and more involved in being a presenter and a promoter, and eventually he killed E3 and set up his own Game Awards thing, which is just horrible. It's not all it is, but the whole thing about Neil Newbon, who played Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, getting up to give his acceptance speech and being like run off the stage because he was very strictly on a time limit, and he tried to take a moment to talk about representation in video games for gay characters, gay people, and all kinds of other, underrepresented groups. And the music starts playing, and he's basically shoved off the stage. It's a very horribly capitalist and commercial alternative to E3 that we've gotten. And Jeff Keighley is not the man to blame, but he's very much the figurehead for that whole thing. And a lot of the money seems to end up in his pocket. So, I don't know, I'm not thrilled. I don't think that's good for the industry. It's definitely not good for the players, for the consumers. So, not a fan of the Game Awards. Do some reading about it from actual journalists. Don't take my word for it. And you'll see that the whole thing is actually quite horrible and very, very deeply cynical, and gamers should be outraged, but we're stupid. You show us a bunch of nice trailers and we forget all of our faculties very quickly. I'm as bad as anyone. We get hyped and distracted very quickly. We're like goldfish. But yeah, Kotori. Yeah, no one knows what it is. Lily tried, yes. Imagine the Christian Right, yeah. And Devil Worshippers, yeah. Diablo 4, they've confirmed it's not Diablo. I love how everyone thinks, what games depict something to do with hell? But yeah, everyone thinks Doom, Diablo, but there are actually fucking loads. It can be almost anything. That's the funny thing. The demons are not very Doom-like. Yeah, I don't think it does have Doom vibes. There's not a prediction. I'm saying I don't know what it is. It could be something to do with Lords of the Fallen. Come on, there are so many games that lean into that kind of aesthetic. I just thought the timing with this just having come out, and we know that ZOS are going to be talking to us fairly soon about next year. A Game Awards announcement would be a little bit early. Not in their typical style, but I just thought I'd mention it. It's not a prediction by any means. Not for ESO, certainly not for Doom. It's funny, yeah. And also, they talked about the Dark Brotherhood, so a whole Vermina-based storyline would be very strange. It is Quenimage, right. Either a marketing thing or it's an actual totem from hell, yeah? And yes, gamer chicks, we are on PTS. Don't embarrass Erin by asking if he's seen Event Horizon. Anyone who hasn't seen Event Horizon and who doesn't have an incredibly weak stomach, do yourself a favor. Just watch it. Not right now. Just at some point. Get it done. Three-body problem. Yeah, good things about both. Stormcurse can proc on itself too, seeing enough enemies it will chain into itself. Yeah, like I said, this is... When did this come out? It was part of the... It's part of High Isle. So it's like 4 years old, Stormcurse. We've known about it for a long, long time. I just had one person on YouTube checking if it's still good. The reason... it wasn't better known, I think, among the mid-game was because running Sorcerer in Trials has been a pretty niche and unattractive thing to do for a long time. They just don't bring much automatic cleave to the table. You can build them for that. Like, I was in a Halls of Fabrication Trifecta prog years ago, and I basically showed up and said, I'll play whatever. So I was tank, I was one of the healers, then I was moved to play Sorc DD, then I was moved to Sorc tank, and in the few weeks where I played Mag Sorc DPS, we were doing a triplet snook. I was top DPS every time, until one Necromancer switched to Azure Blight. That was back when you couldn't all run Azure Blight at the same time. Then I couldn't catch him. He was way out in front. But the Sorc, because it wasn't a single target damage with a bit of cleave, it was just build for cleave properly. Maybe I built better, maybe my rotation was better, I don't know. but I think it was mostly down to me just pulling the right levers on that class. It's not that Sork is single target only, or that it has no AoE. It's that it doesn't have any free AoE. It's like the Scamp, and then whatever backbar dot it's using, and that's pretty much it. And it's just not enough when you compare it to Blastbones, Fate Carver, even something like Subterranean Assault, right? And Nikolai, I'm going to say this a million times this stream, I'm on PTS. Public test servers do exist. I'm a content creator, guys, so I use the PTS all the time. It's not trickery. You could, if you have it installed, you can get online right now. Everyone's like, how are you playing? Aren't the servers down? It's a conspiracy. But yeah, I'm just on the PTS, the public test server.
As Hermaeus Mora, the one who knows foretold,
And hey, Tobicandy, how's it going?
Many diverse twists of fate have led us to this nebulous
Pride Claw. Oh boy, Khan, I was about to ask if you've seen or heard about the class rework. Saw your video on YouTube. Such a huge Pride Claw. That I would be a little bit insulted if you thought I hadn't heard about it.
We are bound together by
But yeah.
danger.
Nice to see you, man. Hope you're doing... Yeah, I'm doing alright, thank you. How are you doing? And Overhype. I tend to go one bar build and plan to use Storm Curse and Sergeant with Oaken Soul. I like the passes of both the Gravelord and Assassination. Fair enough. You do you. I'm just going to say, I'm sure you've heard it before. Please look at alternatives to Oaken Soul. It's a real dead end. I wish people would stop promoting it. It's been bad for a long time. I'm not saying don't use it. Like I said first, you do you. If you want it, you has it. You go for it. You go, Nova Hype. But if you're using it because someone told you it was really good and you believed them, forget it. They were wrong, they lied to you, or whatever. Just, yeah. Consider alternatives. Literally anything. There's nothing wrong with one bar, there's nothing wrong with heavy attack. I don't particularly gravitate towards either of those playstyles. I think one of the only reasons I play this game is for the combat system. And as soon as you get into heavy attacks or limiting yourself to one bar, I find that the combat system loses quite a lot of its appeal for me. But everyone's different, so I love that these other options exist and that they have been made viable. Because for a long time, heavy attack rotations were so far behind. They just weren't really worth bothering with. And Zos have done quite a few things, Oaken Soul included, to fix that. And I think that's a good thing. But yeah, Oaken Soul became a bit of a bait mythic for a long time, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that going in. It would be wrong of me to not say anything. Yeah, Futa makes sense. Server up. Not yet. This is PTS, and one bars suck. Well, maybe for you and me, but not for everyone. The only other thing I always say when this comes up is try rebinding your bar swap key. Because, I'm not kidding, 90-something% of people I've had this conversation with, and they're just the ones who are prepared to admit it, people who hate or they think that they hate the 2-bar system. Oh, bar swapping is so complicated, it feels clunky and weird. It's not the mechanic itself. It's not the gameplay feature, it is the button that is bound to. The default keybind for bar swap on mouse and keyboard is awful. And on console, it's crap as well. Change it, you might find that suddenly, 2-bar is awesome. Hang on, where is this cistern? I thought it was out there, yeah. We're just walking through some of the Necrom quest here. It's actually a storyline I haven't done yet. And given all the chat about Vermina, I thought, what the hell, let's do it. But we're just on PTS, so none of this is going to last. I can do anything you want, guys. If you want me to make a new character, you want me to go solo some random shit, I'm down. Pour the ink into the water. No vibe. I'm debating, would it really be more beneficial to run Bloodthirsty versus Infused? Why are you debating? I'm curious. And Erin, I hope Jennifer English wins Voice Actor Award this time.
We must converge.
Jennifer English. Why am I... Is that, Shadowheart? What did she do this year? Hey, Wes, by the way. What's up? They did such a nice job with, Hermaeus Mora in this. They made him a bit more cute than I thought they would. The whole of Apocrypha has a very whimsical feel to it. I think it's because they wanted to make this huge zone. And they must have decided early on, if we just make it like the Deadlands, which is much smaller, and much more of a place of threats, you know? Apocrypha, you meet a lot of friendlies, a lot of NPCs that you can talk to, rather than just fight. They must have made a decision to make it weird and wonderful and whimsical, rather than just, you know, a horrendous and bizarre place of dread. They've done that before. So, I kind of like that. But yeah, it did leave us with a slightly more cuddly Hermaeus Mora than I was expecting.
Meramil has done
Some of those demons on the statue reminded me of the ones in the Diablo 4 trailer.
into my unrelenting gaze.
Yeah, this is console PTS. Sweet Baby Reyes. Gamer Chicks. Now this is PC. Only server that's up. Yes, yes, Moose. There was another OpenSoul thread on Reddit yesterday, full of people getting downvoted for speaking the truth about OpenSoul, while all the terrible backwards opinions were getting upvotes. That's wild. It's probably just one guy with like 20 accounts upvoting and downvoting all this stuff they like or don't like. Yeah, it's a real fact-free zone, isn't it? The whole OpenSoul discussion. That's why I think Zos are just keen to nerf the Mythic and move on. I think they're absolutely right, if that is their thinking. And Gumbro, hello, hello! Can do everything but Crown Crate gambling. Yeah, I can't do that on PTS. Exactly. But why would she win for Shadowheart? She's Expedition, that's it. That's it. Isn't Charlie Cox nominated? That was nice to see him again. I didn't even realize he was in Expedition 33. But then I ignored that game pretty much. I didn't play it. Didn't look like it was... honestly, I thought it looked awful. And then it launched and everyone was like, oh, it's so good. So I was really happy to be wrong. But the way it was trailed seemed very, very corny to me. I just completely misjudged it. But yeah, it's a very, very strong contender, isn't it? And Overhype, just feel Infused is more beneficial as it increases my enchantments and gives me stronger heals for solo content. Trust me, you don't need that. You do not need stronger heals from Infused Jewelry. In fact, most of your healing in solo content will probably scale with your damage. If you haven't seen my video on making your DPS tanky yet, do it. Because the... very, very briefly, I'm oversimplifying here, but the mistake so many players make is they think, well, in order to give myself survivability, I have to lose damage. So one example would be, I'll take out some of these damage CPs and put in defensive CPs. Or I'll remove a medium piece and put on a heavy piece. And yeah, you can do those things, but you should do those things last. The things you should do first is pull all of the levers that the game has so generously given you to give yourself survivability, healing, sustain through damage. I'd never noticed that the whole skybox changes. That's cool. So could you just leave the quest here and then go off and explore like green miasmic Necrom? No. Alright, it resets after a while. But that is the Vengeance campaign sky, isn't it? It looks like it. And DB Nikolai, I wanted to be online as well. Thanks for the answer. No conspiracy here. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. And Shapeless Play. Mora from Craglorn is my favorite. Lots of screenshots. Yeah, that whole, the Keepers, the Seeker's Archive? What's it called? Yeah, the Seeker's Archive. I love it in there. Love, 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 love it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go see it. Like, debuffs increase bloodthirsty, major sorcery brutality. I mean, no, but they work together. So I'm not sure why I've got infused jewelry here. But it just... The maths have been done. It's not gonna... You're not gonna, like, gimp your damage enormously by going infused, but... The way to approach it is to, for example, give yourself healing from tricks like Crit Surge. So that's just, it's just a free heal when you deal damage. And things like Reaving Blows. When you deal direct damage, you heal for 7% of the damage done. There's no cooldown on that. So, like, honestly, I've got videos of me soloing world bosses that people think are really difficult. I don't have Major Resolve. All I have is Fake Carver and Reaving Blows. And the boss just cannot kill me. Because the shield and the heal is so strong. I'm not saying it's foolproof. There are times when, like if you're soloing a very recent veteran DLC dungeon, especially if you do hard mode or whatever, you're going to run into much greater incoming damage. Then you're just going to need straight up armor. Having 22k armor isn't going to be enough. You're going to have to go like 25k. And then, yeah, heavy pieces, stuff like that come into play, but that's pretty far down the solo rabbit hole. The vast majority of things that people mean when they talk about soloing, you don't need to make any concessions. Just run full damage. And just make sure you have Major Resolve from Hurricane. And ideally, if you're fighting big targets or if you're doing dungeons and stuff, Major Breach. But most of the time you don't even need Major Breach. Hang on, let me change something here. This is PTS, so the performance is absolutely fucking shocking. And I do not have the setup that I thought I did. So, Darlock Bray, why on earth am I running Darlock Bray? Switch to that for a start. Don't need this. And that should be better. And let me change my CP as well now. Just to prove what I was talking about. So we don't need... Let's go with Reaving Blows here. Now I should have a shitload of healing. And Tiago, hi, yes, maintenance. Maintenance is ongoing. Rakat Shoulder plus Oakensole Awesomest Ruler. You don't need the Oakensole. Empower is so free, you can get it from so many things. Do I even have a food buff as well? I didn't. Yeah, obviously this is old content, but it was designed to be... This was designed to be, like, for a group, what I'm doing right here. Just back in 2014. Late 2014. It very, very quickly became quite easy to solo. But these days, it's just a joke. As you can see. And Moose, oh, imagine this about a setup that doesn't require Oakensole plus Rakat's Void Mantle. Mind blown. Yeah. Yeah, so just like not running Oakensole in the first place and then using the Void Mantle. Sweet baby rares. Oh yeah, so where's this scamp? There he is. So, I noticed that the Solstice daily job quests were bugged. Not until last night I figured out quests that were on the left side, kind of towards the achievement. I see. Infused Jewelry is better for PvP. Maybe that's why you have... it wasn't Null-Arca, it was Tideborn. I can't remember what that was for. I think it's for... I think it was for stealth kills, where you want to one-shot them, so Bloodthirsty is pointless. I think that's what it was. I was just messing around with like a... You know, if I was doing the Dark Brotherhood quest, for example. Anyway, let's get into the main hall. Man, I love Rush of Agony. It's so fun. Also, Mr. Ruler, I'm struggling to find a reliable source of Empower. Most sources are just awful. So... Solar Flare. Pretty fucking good. And it means you get access to this whole skill line. It's a very good, you know, one of the most popular skills in the game. So that's a very good one. Oh, there are so many. Go to uesp.net and just look up Empower. And I'm sure you'll find something. And hey, Not Pure just rated us on YouTube. Hello! Welcome on in. Sorry I had to pause to cough for a moment there. Still getting over a bit of a cold here, nothing major. But does affect my ability to bring the energy, bring the entertainment when I stream. So there we go, look at that. This is what Shapeless was chatting about. So freaking cool. And this is base game. It's one of my favorite locations in the entire game, I think. It's like low-key, but the Nedic architecture throughout Craglorn is really well done. The sort of ancient and mysterious qualities to it. The Watcher is just a cool monster. And that statue, and the way it's lit. Holy fucking shit. Good work. Good work, art department. Shapeless Khan is always right. Not always. Do you think they'll fix Sky Shards on the new side of Solstice? Honestly, I don't even know what the problem is. I don't really pay attention to Sky Shards. What's the bug? I've asked people before and they haven't been able to explain it. Can you just not pick them up, or... But yeah, I mean, if there's a bug, they fix it. That's what happens. I wouldn't worry about it. And if you're in desperate need of skill points... there are plenty of other Sky Shards and skill points around. Again, I'm pretty sure we got a video on it, if that's useful. But yeah, I hope they'll fix it soon. Seems like something which shouldn't be a bug for that long. If you complete the West of Solstice, your character cannot pick it up. Pick what up? Any of the Sky Shards. Some characters cannot activate them. Right. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but yeah, they've got to... Obviously, yeah. They need to fix that shit. Oh, the glaring eye is tanky. I don't know why my add-ons aren't... Most of my add-ons are switched off on PTS. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. The music is so triumphant. Aww. I love it in old, like, base game content, which is really easy, and the music gets really stirring. Like, but yeah, welcome on in, everybody who joined us with Not Pure. Thanks so much for the raid. My name is Khan. This is Ninja Pulls. I'm one half of the team here. We run a teaching guild in ESO on the EU PCEU server. Also have a guild on the PCNA server. But we're primarily PCEU. We do teaching runs, we do guides, videos, builds, rotation. Not really builds. I try to stay away from that term because I think it's not very helpful. But you guys know what I mean when I say setups and rotations, those kind of guides. Anyway, Shapeless, thanks for the little reminder. Let's get back to Necrom. Ulfsilds with Empower. There we go. That's a very good idea. You can replace the dot with Gladiator's Tenacity and use first script for Burst and third one for Empower. Yeah. Fiery Dog, I like the infographic on class identity, especially that Wardens were described as using nature and the seasons. I mean, that's nothing new. But yeah, it would be a shame if they forgot. Wardens have got nothing to do with nature. While this covers Winter, Ice Frost, I thought it leaves it open for a true Water Frost Mage Wizard class to be introduced. We have Fire, Earth, and Shock covered. The thing about all these ideas is that whilst I read these and I think, ooh, that would be fun, I would like that, then I swap hats for a moment and I imagine myself as somebody at ZOS or at any studio. You're going to introduce a new class. This is a huge amount of work. It needs to be, it's a thing that you cannot do very often, so it needs to be a huge pull. It needs to keep the players very, very happy. It needs to get current players excited. It needs to get people who aren't already playing the game or who've left it interested in maybe checking it out or coming back. You need it to be something cool. And it is a problem. It means that whenever the developers are in the early stages, conception, shooting ideas around, the ideas that win out are generally going to be the ones that are most hypeable. Just because of the way the commercial realities of the industry. Right? It's nothing new. But obviously the way that games are marketed these days has evolved somewhat due to Twitch and whatnot. So all of these relatively low-key... That's the other reason I think a bard is just a terrible idea. There are a number of reasons why I think it's quite short-sighted whenever people start going, oh, we need a bard, we need a bard. It's a fun idea. I think it could be made to work. But if you're a developer and you're sitting down and you're thinking of all the crazy ideas you could do, I feel like there are so many things that go way higher on the list than a lot of the ideas that players tend to come up with. Because we tend to think about what's right in front of us, about the gap in the Warden. For example, just to take this example, I'm not saying it's a bad idea at all. It's not. I like it. It's a good idea. But, we tend to think about, oh, what could we do that's adjacent to what the game already does? But if you're a developer, you probably aren't encouraged to think like that. It's what can we do that is really out there, hence the Arcanist, which a lot of us thought was too whack when we first saw it. It takes its cue from science fiction, not from fantasy. But it was designed in such a way that it works. It seems like it fits in the world. I don't even know how they did that. So I would expect them to... And look at its popularity. People love it not just because it's so easy and strong. In fact, people probably dislike it because it's so easy and strong. But people like it because it's so visually and audibly arresting and cool. To the point where they're even talking about that is the gold standard. We now need to bring Nightblade and all of our other classes up to speed so that they look and sound and feel as great as the Arcanist does because we did such a good job there. So... those are my words, not theirs. At no point in yesterday's article they say, we did such a nice job, we're going to repeat it. But they literally say, we're going to bring it up to spec so that it looks more like the Arcanist, for example. That's not an add-on for the plant glow, that is just a passive. You look at alchemy. Keen Eye reagents. Yeah, tad bothersome for new characters ruins that. Yeah, fair enough. Shapeless, I didn't need to talk to anyone. I've done that like a million times. And by the way, the big Hermaeus Mora statue in the back of the delve was the same shape as the cake they gave us for the tavern. Yeah, because they obviously reused that asset for Necrom. Despite the fact that he looks quite different.
Laramil has done well.
Hey Wes, how you doing?
Brought fate's chosen into my unrelenting gaze.
And Schnacks, hello, hello. Hello there.
Are now excluded from this.
Yeah, what a nice view, bro, right? Agreed. And Runes, I'll be happy if they introduce spears as a weapon. They have made assets and animations already. I mean, they don't have the animations and assets. Sorry to sound a bit combative there. Don't mean it that way. But as we've talked about before, I think, let's go with just a shield, for example. How many shields do you think are here? It's 9 per row. No, 8 per row. That's a lot of rows. What's 8 times a lot? No, we've actually worked this out. It is on the record somewhere. But they would have to make this number of spears for a start. That is the overriding argument as to why we are unlikely to get a new weapon skill line. A, because it's not a priority. Not enough people are interested, I don't think. Like, I think it'd be cool to see spears. Don't get me wrong, yeah, spears, crossbows, but it would be more likely... My character just dancing in the background. I think it would be more likely that we would get unarmed, so they can just focus on animations and nothing else. That would be a little bit weird, but, you know, it's possible. Or dual wands or something like that, and then you don't make one, you know, a million different types of wand. Just like a miniature staff, and you can have 2 of them. These are just the ideas that the community has been throwing around for years. But yeah, anything that involves more of an established weapon type, I think it's going to be tricky. Either that, or you just use these as spears, which doesn't really work. But yeah, if we're just talking about things that would be cool, not things that are ever realistically going to happen, then I'm with you. Yeah, Nova Hype, bring it up to spec. Nerf Snipe Blades both rock.
Know that you stand in the presence of
I keep walking away from him. Oh, I love that animation, though. Really nicely done.
Let I have to you discover every path. Fate takes many paths, mortal.
What about his... He doesn't have a disappearing animation, does he?
And choose wisely.
No, I think he just stays there until you get far enough away and then blink. The god rays coming through the ink, that's actually really nice. Man, every now and again this game does a great job of creating a moment that reminds you of Skyrim or Oblivion, which weren't as good looking as this game, and yet, because they're single player focused, they have such great moments in them where it's weird. It's you know exactly what I mean. Even if I'm struggling to put it into words, it just pulls you in and puts you in that moment, in a moment, in a video game. Just genius. It's a real magic trick. ESO isn't equipped to do it as well or as often, but every now and again they do still pull it off, I feel like. I'm saying I think we should count them one at a time. Yeah. Arun's like, yeah, I've seen spears laying around on the ground and weapon racks, and there are Khajiit NPCs sparring with them. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they have all the assets. They might have 1 or 2. But you saw how many. That's what I was talking about. And just because we've got this, or a couple of animations here and there, it doesn't mean that there's no more work to do. in terms of creating a spear skill line. I'm not saying it'll never happen or that's a shit idea. I actually think that would be really cool. I guess the question is, I take issue with the suggestion that, oh, they've already done half the work, or they've already done the work. They absolutely haven't. It would be just as much work as anything else. And is it really top of the list? I guess I'll come back to that example of, like, you know, a bard class or an earth mage or whatever it is. You got to ask yourself, if you're making decisions, if you're Rich Lambert or you're working for Rich and you've got a list of pitches for the next class, which, by the way, they may be working on right now for a 2027 release. Who the hell knows? Maybe Rich is going to or has recently done this exact thing where he's looked at, I don't know, a short list of 5, and there are a bunch of people at the studio who have to decide which one to pursue. I'm gonna go for the one which I'm gonna think is gonna cause the most excitement. Every time. Not the one which I think would suit my playstyle the best, or the thing that I've thought about most while playing the game. But yeah, it's a bit of a leap for me to suggest I can relate to that decision-making process in any way. Obviously I can't, but it's fun to speculate and to try to put yourself in that position and think, well, how would my thinking about what I want for the game change if suddenly I'm thinking of its commercial success and prospects rather than just, oh, wouldn't it be cool for me if, or my buddies and I would really like to play this way.
Meeting Hermaeus Mora represents
Sometimes those are the same thing,
the one who knows
and then happy
materializes
days.
in a delimited
But often they
proportion.
do conflict, don't they?
He chooses to manifest
Yeah,
before
spears would be
humans.
nice. They were in Morrowind, so it's never going to stop being a... Morrowind had spears. It doesn't matter that they haven't been in any Elder Scrolls game since. The fact that Morrowind had them means that, yeah, Runezar, people like you, me, and many, many others are never going to stop thinking about it for ESO. Spears? And Sweet Baby Reyes, if you find the Sky Shard you're missing on another toon, it will fix the bug on the character that it's bugged on. Really? Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't know that. Gilly-chan, hey Khan, how's it going? Hey Gilly, how you doing? It's going alright, thank you. Should have made Hermaeus Mora so it doesn't look at the player but at the camera. That would have been so sick. Then you Khan, my man, question time. I know you like subclassing, but it has also removed a big portion of what Ninja Balls has done. Yeah, I hate it for that. I still don't know how I'm gonna do what I want to do with subclassing. I just don't know how. With all the overhaul on Pure Class, I reckon this will be something that will be content creators will get back into. Builds, that is. How do you feel about it? Stressful, boring, fun? Ooh.
A reason
Stressful and fun. It's definitely not boring, because I will be busy as fuck.
about that.
But,
3 paths are now arrayed before you. Which will you pick?
it's going to be a lot of work, but it's also going to be a lot of stress. Yeah, because I won't know what's up. I think if Zos's recent moves are any indication, then they do want to talk to the players more throughout this process. I think they might even be prepared to put something on PTS that doesn't necessarily go live at the end of that cycle. Who knows? But that's the thing that keeps coming up. You know, the PTS cycle is fine for, like, catching bugs and things like that. But for something like subclassing, obviously that was enormous. But even if it had just been an overhaul for the Nightblade, 4 weeks, it's just a bit too short. Given the time that it takes for players to test, send feedback, devs have then got to gather that feedback, filter it, what's bullshit, what's sensible, what's accurate, what is backed up by testing. I love the Infernium, they're so fun. And and then act on it. Only they don't wait for all of our data before acting on things. Obviously, they will be working throughout that process. But yeah, it very quickly becomes obvious that 4 weeks is just not quite long enough. So either we need a slightly longer PTS cycle, or the whole class thing needs to be separated from the PTS cycle and the update cycle. I don't know if ZOS can do that. I don't know if they can do that easily or at all. But that is the part I'm looking forward to. Providing feedback. Both looking at you guys and looking at the devs and saying, hey, I tested the new DK. You know, here's what we think. Here's what I'm not sure about. You guys help me figure it out. That, I think, is going to be really fun. It's genuinely going to be interesting. Even if we test something and it sucks and they abandon it, that'll still be fun. What will suck is if the thing that sucks... What won't be fun is if the thing that sucks goes live and we then have to deal with it whilst trying to reframe criticisms and issues with it to the devs to make sure they understand where we're coming from. But the last few months, communication from the devs and with the devs has just felt kind of fresh and different. Yesterday's article was a very good example of that. I'm not going to say that we've turned a corner and that's the way it's going to be from now on, but hopefully. Good question, Xenia. I hope that's a reasonable answer. And Gilly saying, not bad, a bit tired. I should probably continue to Solstice story, but somehow I'd rather farm Antiquity Furnishing leads. Do whatever you fancy. Go for the story when your interest is beginning to dry up, and then go do something fresh. I find that works really well. So one of the reasons I'm so behind with story is that I kind of save it up for when I've lost interest in other things, and I never seem to lose interest in other things. Never run out of stuff to do. But yeah, what did you guys think about the article? Is there anyone here who didn't like it? And we had one guy in the Discord, but as you can see, if you were there for the conversation, it wasn't clear that he understood what was happening, because he didn't seem to understand other people's comments on the topic, and his own comments didn't, I genuinely couldn't understand what they were saying. I messaged a couple of people saying, am I just being rude? Do I not understand this guy and he's making total sense? Everyone was like, no, that's a crazy person, or it's a bot, or something. And that's literally the only negative response that I heard yesterday. I'm sure it wasn't the only one. But I was quite surprised to see how in step everyone was with well, the proof is in the pudding. Not going to get my hopes up yet, but so far it looks kind of cool. That was generally the vibe, wasn't it? And so, the good thing about it is that the overhaul is coming in portions, so that should at least make it less stressful. Yeah, it'll give us something to focus on. And let's remember, part of the reason that Oakensol ended up the way it did and caused so many fucking problems was because the original Mythic was overpowered. And then Update 33 came, one patch late. Update 35, sorry, came a patch later. High Isle was 34. And famously, Update 35 contained within it a load of stuff that the players did not like, with good reason. The devs had made some mistakes. It seemed like testing had been rushed, or hadn't been done beyond spreadsheets or dummy humping. It hadn't been sort of taken into a trial and tested in context. Everyone, Nefas, almost said Alcast, Skinny Cheeks, Ninja Pulls, 8 Puppies, I'm sure I'm forgetting a dozen people. We all went and tested, not necessarily together, but we all did the same stuff. We all came up with the same responses, within 24 hours. Some of it within an hour of reading the patch notes, we're saying, no, that's not going to work. That's not how this works. Zos, please don't do that. So they had to do a massive U-turn, a little bit like the Update 47 U-turn, where they had to quickly abandon 3 ideas But instead of 3, it was like 20. They had to walk back a whole bunch of things. And in the meantime, they also changed OpenSoul. Nobody tested OpenSoul because they were busy with everything else. And they changed the way Empower works randomly in week 3, but forgot that it was now... So they made OpenSoul a heavy attack mythic, whilst buffing it enormously in that department. And that's how we ended up with this mythic, which caused so many problems for such a long time. So, yeah, focusing on one thing at a time is definitely a good idea, because even with hundreds of players testing, we generally will be distracted by the big things, or what we see as the big things, the things that our mates are asking us about, the things that we're being asked about on Twitch and on YouTube, the things that people are interested in. So we will not always remember to test everything. Yeah, also, Miss Ruler, I've reported a lot of quest bugs, etc. on PTS during the testing weeks. The majority made it to live. Yeah, reporting is one thing. If you can tell them how to recreate the bug, because often a bug that happens to us won't happen to the devs. Obviously, that is many, especially if we're talking simple quest bugs, then yeah, a lot of them should be, they probably are replicated. So yeah, sometimes it's not a reporting issue, it's just they don't have time to get around to everything. Which, again, proves my point about the timescales and whatnot. The whole PTS is highly optimistic. Yeah. Too many things make it to PTS that can't go live. That's definitely fair to say. I don't think that's unfair to the devs. Saying that PTS should be for small things. You know, getting players in there at scale and ironing out the problems. Not establishing whether or not something is conceptually valid or solid. And I think too often we end up in the latter situation, where fundamentals are being put through their paces on PTS. I think you gotta find a way to avoid that. But QA, incredibly expensive. It's one of the areas where studios are trying to save money throughout the industry. And it's why QA testers are unionizing, often very effectively. Because they're not treated like vengeance, one class at a time. On the one hand, they don't want it to take forever. But yeah, I really hope they're looking at something creative. Fiery Dog, yeah, I really do. Deriv, I'm a new player and want to play Templar Healer in PvP. Was so happy to get Banner Spell, but then I read I have to farm scribing script scraps. That'll take like 20 days. Don't know if I can speed it up. Script scraps for which one? Sorry, I can't remember which. Most of them you don't need scraps for. Yeah, Gilly, I saw the conversation. Didn't understand his posts either. I'm just going to say to anyone who's on the Discord, or if you're on Twitch here or in some other channel, if someone else is doing that, if someone else is spewing, if they're like, I don't know, if they're Polish or something and they're putting their Polish through Google Translate and expecting it to work, it doesn't happen often, but it happens every now and again with someone who's speaking a language whose native language is far enough away from English that they're really struggling. So they will lean on Google Translate. Do feel free, be polite, and just say like, I'm really sorry, but I don't understand you either. Because so often, when I get this, the person I tell, I'm sorry, I don't understand you, they get angry, and they think that I'm doing something, or I'm not bothering to read their post. They get angry with me. It doesn't occur to them, because human brains work this way, we very rarely assume that we're at fault. If we encounter a bump in the road, we assume the world is at fault first, you know? Or the person with whom we're having the interaction. What's their fucking problem? So it's perfectly natural. It's not that these people are idiots or whatever, but whenever I do this, I say to people, I'm sorry, I'm struggling to understand what you say. If you're in a position to politely chime in and say, yeah, bro, no offense, or like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand you also, but not having much success. It can really help. One of the reasons it flared up yesterday is because I was the only one stepping to this guy, and everyone else was like DMing me going, this guy, what the fuck? You know? So not to single you out, Gilly, but feel free, anyone, to chime in politely. Obviously don't make it worse. It can transform an ugly argument into acceptance very, very quickly. You see it in trials all the time when someone's being a dick, but they don't realize it, because when we're dicks, we don't tend to be aware of it, and the raid lead will say something, and the person in question will kick off and start an argument. If just one other person or two people politely step in and say, no, to be fair, the raid lead's right. You're in the wrong on this one, buddy. I'll tell you, 4 times out of 5, maybe 9 out of 10, solves the issue. Anyway, that was just a random little tangent it went off on. Oh yeah, for the class mastery, that was it. That's it. Deriv, so yeah, you only need it if just run something other than class mastery. Don't worry about it. You don't need that one script. At all. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. And Aaron, yeah, best way for you is to do daily random normals and a multiple character will take time. Once you unlock it on one character, you won't need it on another. Yeah, that's true. And drop magic, hey! Hi, just about to start my ESO journey. What class do you recommend? It really doesn't matter. We've got subclassing now, so you'll be able to switch whatever you like. A nice, easy start. One of the most popular skill lines right now is something called Herald of the Tome. That is an Arcanist skill line, so you could go with Arcanist. One of the most versatile, probably, is Nightblade, because you will use Assassination and Siphoning in almost any situation in this game. You will want one or the other. But have fun. I love Nightblade. It's my favorite class. Arcanist is the coolest in a lot of ways. It's got crazy visuals and audio. So definitely probably the most entertaining. But thematically and in terms of the gameplay loop before subclassing came along, Nightblade is my favorite for sure. But yeah, it really doesn't matter, so don't sweat it. You can make other characters very easily. The leveling process is very quick. Once your characters hit level 50, you get this thing called champion points. And your champion points are account-wide. So if one character has 1,000 champion points, you make a second character, because you decide, I'd quite like to have a necromancer. You get that character to level 50, and then suddenly they will have... in fact, even before they hit 50, you'll be able to use the champion points that you have account-wide. So the game kind of wants you to have a handful of characters. So don't worry too much about that, and changing it around to be whatever you want has never been easier. Do you know when maintenance is over? Yes, we do. It's probably going to be 5 PM UK time. It's on the ESO website. That's where I got the information. Yeah, it's on the website, yeah. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. And yes, as Shapeless, it's hard to oversimplify your thoughts from description languages to conceptual ones. Yeah, it's just... I think I know what you mean by that. It's hard, and I relate. Like, imagine if I go to a... I'm Danish. I speak Danish. But because I've lived in the UK for years, if I were to go to a Danish streamer's channel and I find that a fairly high-level conversation about, I don't know, game design or politics or, you know, something slightly technical and complicated, if that's going on, I am going to have my thesaurus at hand, probably, within a few minutes. Or I'm going to be typing my answers slowly. Or I'll make mistakes. Let alone if it's a language I'm not that good at. Like French. Or let alone, you know, Polish, which is the example I gave earlier. I speak absolutely no Polish. Never have done. I speak a little bit of Czech, but they're not that similar. Yeah, I'd be completely screwed. So I have total sympathy for these people who are struggling to get their message across. And I'm very happy to read a sentence 2 or 3 times to make sure that I understand. But if I read it 10 times and it still just doesn't make sense, and this happens over and over again, I'm going to say to that person, I'm sorry, our communication isn't working because you're not using real... This is not a real sentence. And yeah, it's...
Hello? Over here.
Hello, Cypher Husmargo. I don't think I've ever spoken to this guy before.
Cypher Husmargo, and I watch over the
And Shapeless, the absolutely worst are those words that exist in both but mean a completely different thing.
Who can help me reestablish order
Yes.
here. The chorus is in
The
disharmony.
number of times we see a small business, you know, like driving a van around a town with a little, like, thing on the side which says, I don't know, something horrendous in Czech. You know? And Maya and I will just be laughing. It'll say prdel or something, which means ass. I haven't actually seen that one. But I was once visiting my sister in Belgium, and a German lorry drove by. It might have been Swiss, actually. And it just said KUNT Logistics. Kunt Logistics. And my dad and I were just cracking. Like, it happens very, very easily. Even at a marketing and branding level, let alone little conversations on the internet, Shapeless. You're absolutely right. Gilly, enjoy your coffee time. Coffee is an excellent idea. It really is. I can't really step away from my desk, though. So guys, I'm just bimbling. Welcome on in. Welcome to Ninja Pulse. This is Khan. I'm bimbling on PTS right now. If you want to talk about anything at all related to yesterday's announcement, hopes, dreams, fears for next year, I don't have any information to share, but always happy to shoot the breeze. If you want to see me do anything weird or silly on the PTS, obviously let me know. And yes, not pure, we're on PTS. The comments take a long time to arrive, it seems like. So sorry I'm getting to some of these a little bit late. And Meziaric, I'm a new player and want to play Templar Healing PvP. Oh, there we go. We already dealt with that one on Twitch as well. Thank you. And Van Hender, as a non-English speaker, you also have to remember that if you use Google Translate, the mistranslation is happening both ways. Yes, exactly. What an amazing tool. And I'm sure it'll only get better. But I think we're some way off where we can just rely on it to get things right. If that will ever happen. Language is a monstrously complicated thing. Even if you're just going from English to German, these are languages with huge overlap and common ancestry. If you're going from, I don't know, Hungarian to Mandarin, or like, what are the chances? So yeah, crazy. Drinks beers. Hey, why can't I use the Imperial race on the PTS? Oh, I don't know. I guess if you bought the upgrade on the EU server, you might not have it on the NA server. Some things that you buy, like bankers and stuff, are not shared. Like on the NA server, I have fuck all. I have no stuff. It sucks. But, yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's got to be it.
Thank the Phantoms. The rectory houses one of Hermaeus Mora's
The
most
rectory.
prized
How can I help?
Faulty vessels destabilize the entire apparatus, dislodging focus crystals, warping valves, and prompting leaks throughout the system. Husmargo needs someone to protect his backside and make repairs. You would take Nurni Gold as payment, yes?
Nurni Gold? Yeah. This guy's got a pretty different sounding Khajiit accent, doesn't he? A little bit. Yes, I will help you.
First, we need to reset the magical
Shapeless,
focus
watch the scene from
to
Star Wars
Corporeus
Reverse
Secrets,
Translate.
and I'll
Hilarious.
take you to the
Yeah,
Nurni
Vezok the
Gold.
other day streamed,
That will reduce the instability.
oh, what's it called? Mistranslated Skyrim? Or something like that. And I think they just put it through an auto-translate. Like everything. Every stitch of dialogue, every name. They put it through 60 translations. And then back to English. So the results are, sometimes they make a little bit of sense. But I was cracking up laughing. It was so fucking stupid. Yeah, Erin, when I use Google Translate, I translate it back to English once to verify if it's not bungled the meaning of the statement. Yeah, that's not bad. I usually just... I use it most for... German. Probably. Not sure why that is. Sometimes for Czech. And occasionally for Turkish. Because my name is Khan in-game. Turkish people come up to me and, like, say something in Turkish. And I'm like, because Khan is a very common name. I don't know, it's like being called Gunther, and then the Germans in-game are going to be like, hello! But, no, maybe not. Maybe that's a bad example. You can buy it in the Crown Store and it should unlock it. That's what I thought, but... Oh, I mean, you're buying on the... Yeah, that's probably why Drinks Beers, if you bought it on NA server. Right now, the PTS is EU. Doesn't make any... It's still based in NA, but it's a clone of the EU characters. If that makes sense.
The chorus? It's the whole reason this place exists. Directory, I mean.
Yeah, just make another character, log in, and then buy the upgrade in the Crown Store. Everything in the Crown Store on PTS is 1 crown. So where would it be? Service tokens? No. Collector's packs. Digital Imperial Edition upgrade. You get a horse. And there, the Imperial style. So yeah, you can just create any old character, immediately log in, and grab that. That would work. Zumadaya bungle English, and it's my native tongue. Same. I mean, it's practically my native tongue these days. I guess Danish I learned first, but my English is better than my Danish now. Sadly.
First, we need to
Not pure, yeah, good mate, no worries, awesome. Doesn't let me buy it on the PTS Crown Store, saying I already have it. What the hell? That's so weird. I'm sorry you're having issues. Gunbro, you reminded me of that post when a Czech called Poles Neskutečni frajeři. Oh, that's terrible pronunciation. Which in Czech means something like unbelievable guys. I'm not familiar with either of those words in a cool way. In a Polish, it means incompetent losers. That's a great mistranslation. Try not to make me laugh though, chat. My lungs are not up to it. If I take a deep laughing breath, I will just be coughing for 10 minutes and might have to go hurl. Sorry, that's gross, but I'm just giving you a warning. Don't make me laugh. Is that really a mistranslation? Erin, fuck off. Anyway.
The chorus? It's the whole reason this place exists. Directory, I mean.
Hydrates, yeah. I've got a big glass of water next to me.
What is it? How to explain it? It is the combined out dream.
It's just that reaction in the lungs, you know, where they get a little bit congested. The stuff around the face is probably okay now. I think I'm over it. Apocrypha is so fucking weird. Like, what? What even? Van Hender, my spoken English is reasonably good, but I use Google Translate since I'm dyslexic, so that's fun. Yeah, I mean, what a useful tool it is. I'm not knocking it at all. And like I said, I use it for Danish, which I ought to be able to just speak. Since I am fluent, but, yeah, it can be really useful. Just for, I guess just checking yourself, right? Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
What a disaster.
Yeah, I like to believe so. I use Google Translate for Danish too. Yeah. That's we're very much alike in that way, Erin. We once had, we do a thing in Ninja Pulls every now and again. I haven't done one in a while. Maybe we should do another one soon. A Tipsy Trials, which is exactly what it sounds like. where everyone gets liquored up, and we do as many trials as possible. Some of them on vet, some of them we just do normal because we can't be asked with the pressure. Occasionally we'll do a hard mode, one of the easier hard modes, but the point is we take it in turns, either 12 of us or sometimes 15, 20 people if we've got more, and we just have to like cycle 2 people out each trial so that everyone is like getting to play, but we will take it in turns to raid lead. And so I will raid lead and say, hey, we're doing Hellrot Citadel, we're doing it like this. Only 2 people are going left, the rest of the group is going right, or whatever.
The vessels in this room seem largely intact.
And there'll be some sort of a gimmick or whatever that I want the group to go as fast as possible or whatever. And one time, it was my turn to lead, and I said, right, the gimmick here is that I'm going to take it in turns to ask you guys to do a little raid lead description of each pull, or boss fight, or whatever. But I want you to do it in your native language. So we had a bunch of Germans, you know, there were like 4 Germans in the group, and all of them were hating it whenever it was the Germans' turn to like describe the trash pull. So pull the infuser to the left, and then the tank will stack them. But we had a guy who spoke Tamil. And I'd never heard... I don't think I'd ever heard Tamil spoken before. And so we had Finnish, Hungarian, Danish, Czech, German, English, maybe a couple of others. But when everyone shut the fuck up to listen to the guy describe how to do a Kind's Aegis trash pull in Tamil, it was like the most surreal and beautiful ESO moment. So, you know, the inability to understand one another can have good consequences as well.
It seems the beasts did not breach the secret.
But it's Durchtränker in German.
And the vessels are in good health. Resetting the focus should
Yeah, we'll have to make sure you're there for the next one of these. But yeah, we had an Austrian girl called Cyan, and Sin of Men was there as well. And whenever it was their turn, the other one was just like cringing to hear the German deployed that way. They just didn't like it because they play the game in English, I guess. But yeah, big fun. And having an international community like that, the amount of cultural crosstalk there is, I just love that shit.
Let me take a few steps back. Welcome to the
Just switch UI to English, yeah.
Hermaeus Mora's Library of Minds.
Drinks beers still didn't work, even though I tried buying a race change token. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess you really want an Imperial, don't you? But on, you know, for whatever it's worth, anything that you make will be deleted soon anyway, you know, whenever the next PTS cycle begins, which, whoa, crazy to think about. That's probably only a few weeks away. It'll probably be early, mid-January that PTS goes up again, and whatever we're doing today will be erased. Thanks for the follow, Nova Hype. Much appreciated. Erin, it would be fun if ESO had in-game translation for stuff in Tamil too, then look at that person go. But I can't drink alcohol. The alcohol is not mandatory. Can I activate different language packs if I log out to character select? Should play the game in German for a little bit. Also, Miss Ruler, ever since the last 2 dungeons, shifted my in-game language to English. Yeah, because they were busted at the beginning. Didn't you just say Dungeon 1? I don't even remember what dungeon is auf Deutsch, for example, but Dungeon 1? Dungeon 2, or whatever. Not good. I don't remember how to do this. It's not an accessibility thing. Text language. Please not German? You don't need to log out for it anymore. Where do I do it? Why am I being dim? Audio. No. Interface. I want to hear the German Daedra voiceovers. Those are amazing. Yeah, I guess I'd have to... change it. Erin, thank you so much. Oh, gifting a tier 1 sub to Belorda. Phone does not have the option for a tier 3 sub. Oh, there's no need. Awesome, Miss Ruler, how are you finding it? Are you finding it any different? Better? Worse?
Body? Oh, yes. Well, mostly. It's not the most exact metaphor. What? No. Every vessel here willingly entered a pact with Hermes Mora.
It's pretty dark. I'm not doing the quest particularly properly, but there are a bunch of mines in here that have made pacts with Mora. Crazy. The no death achievement was just Dungeon 2 not dead. I don't know why that's so funny. Achievements as placeholder. Yeah, Blackstone Foundry was Dungeon 2. That's gold, man. And Shapeless. I always say I dream of Star Wars word. I always say I dream of a Star Wars word where all speak their own thing and there's understanding. Yes, right? Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I'm sure it's perfectly safe for droids. Like, how does that work? I always thought that. Like, Luke's facility with languages must be incredible. That he can understand R2-D2.
I will be free.
Uh-oh.
Watcher's whiskers. What was that?
This is pretty fucked up, though, isn't it? I'd forgotten this. I think I've been here before.
I've been tending to the vessels in the Corporea for many, many years, and never before.
Ah, but Lord,
have I
thank
seen
you,
a thing
Erin.
like
Yeah,
what just
absolutely.
happened.
Gareth Yolnir. Can one effectively learn the Dragon Tongue,
Talk
though?
to us.
They have quite a lot of words. It's not like the... You know, speaking of Star Wars, it's not...
Normally they just lie there.
Chukmiski Grabbleboko. You know, it's not just
While their minds serve the chorus.
Huttese, where it's just inspired by... It's inspired by a real African language, but it's just nonsense words. Noises most of the time. Emil Palarulio did actually get drunk on mead and write the Dragon Tongue. But I don't know if he made enough words to really create a full language. Just enough words for the game. Hey Eggbirds, how's it going? And Muckshifter, hello, hello, have a nice lurk. Alright, well we do have a hype train going, guys. 3 more subs and we will break into level 2. How exciting. And also Miss Ruler Manamalko's voice is a lot cooler than in German. More villainy. It's cooler in German? Alright, you're cooler in English. Yeah, I imagine some of the voiceovers are, but not all. I remember going to Imperial City Prison with the German voice pack on, and the Daedra in there, especially Ibanez the Flesh Sculptor. In English, he just sort of sounds thuggish. And, what, Lyranth? You brought me these mortals? You know, it's very much like that. Whereas the German version was like super dirty old man, like a playground peeper, kind of, it was really horrible. The way that the voice actor had gone for it, like a really twisted kind of gross demon. That was really fun. Just a little choice by the actor there.
And never before have I seen a thing like what just happened.
Shapers don't get any of those packages discounts ever. They all say, we sorry.
Talk to us.
I never got to watch Saturday Kids Show as a kid. My school did not have a Saturday off. German Manamarco sounds like Saturday Kids Show villain. Oh, crikey. How you doing, Eggbirds? Busy, busy, busy with work and homework for uni. Nice. You got drunk on meat and wrote the language? That's brilliant. Yeah, but that's what Todd Howard said in an interview, that Emil heated up some mead in his house, drank it whilst... He's a writer who worked on Thief 1 and 2, got hired by Bethesda to work on It's either late in Morrowind or early in Oblivion's development. So he really started work on Oblivion.
This vessel is
And did a lot of the heavy lifting for Skyrim and Fallout 3 and 4, I believe. And I think he might have been the lead on, like, in terms of narrative for Starfield, but I'm not sure about that. But you can look him up. He's one of the more famous video game writers out there at the moment.
They never try to break free. But if
Cooking
they
Koalas, how's it going? It's going all right, thank you. Koalas, how are you? I'm still recovering
cause stress, no
from a bit of a fluey one.
precisely this
Minion language works, that's the future. Again, speaking of interviews, I think when they were promoting probably Despicable Me 3, or maybe the Minions movie, the two guys who made those films, speaking of Minions, yeah, they actually do the voices. One of them in particular. And it's just sort of a mixture of, like, weird French, because I think they're both French. And with a little bit of, like, Southeast Asian sonic influence. Not actual language, but that stuff thrown in. And I think they brought with them to this interview a raw clip. Like, just the voiceover with no post-production on it. So none of the pitch change or anything like that. And it sounded so weird. So weird. But yeah, voiceovers, man. I love it. Could happily nerd out about that stuff forever. So interesting. I recently rewatched a bit of Star Trek Lower Decks, which is like a... It's from some of the people who made Rick and Morty. Very funny, animated Star Trek thing. It's probably the best Star Trek that's ever been made. It's so good. And the voiceovers in there, holy crap. It's so on point. Amazing. Absolute masterclass. A Fusra bath. That's pretty good, Eggverds. And Gareth Yoni, my wife and I used to brew mead. Wow, that's cool. That's cool as hell, unassailably so. Last time we used the official ESO cookbook recipe. Might be a good idea for Christmas. Hey. Yeah, this whole story is a bit dark. The nature of Mora's bargains with the mortals is not...
finished reading.
It's not entirely wholesome, is it?
Cease on these archives, whose Margot doesn't see anything useful in these books. Yes, yes.
Who's Margot?
Some say it is like a dream.
ESO cookbook
where
Christmas.
the minds of all in the chorus can wander freely.
That's the point. Maya needs to get to work on that, doesn't she?
While the great eye
And Van Hand also saying I played WoW with some Germans. Still think that Zauberer and Hexenmeister sounds better. Yeah, that's true. There are some German names, or just even German pronunciations. Like, I've played ESO with a ton of German players over the years, and I still think Wamasu is a great word. That's a great creature name. But Vamazu has a certain something. And Dromathra is definitely not as cool as Dromatra.
At least that narrows the
Although
scope
it
of
doesn't
the
quite
research.
sound right, because it's...
Disturbance
I
must
feel like
originate
if it's
from
Khajiit,
within the
you're supposed to
heavens,
roll the R.
or even the chorus
Dromatra,
itself.
that's when it
Whereas
sounds
the esoterica
on
corporea
point.
to the north. It
Exactly.
houses our preparatory
Yeah, Dora, she's on it.
and an auxiliary somnambulum. Usmargo will try and...
This is quite an involved quest. I think I stumbled across this exactly the way I did today. We were on PTS when Necrom first was announced. We were like, holy shit, Apocrypha looks amazing. And Maya and I were in here probably while she was streaming to you guys. Very cool. But yeah, Eggbirds, what did you make of the announcement yesterday? You excited? Indifferent? Pessimistic? Hang on, I went right past the door, didn't I? Cooking koalas. Ah, sorry you had a flu. I mean, it's that time of year, isn't it? It's the most boring thing. Oh, late November. Suddenly the temperature dropped. Actually, the real reason I got sick is that Maya keeps bringing exotic colds home from her work. She's interacting with a lot of nasty members of the public. No, you know, not nasty people, but, you know, hygiene not necessarily front of mind. And I worked my ass off last week. I got so little sleep. I did great. Delivered some cool stuff, but it meant that I was super vulnerable when this thing arrived in my system. I just didn't have the energy to fight it off. I was really, like, crushed under the weight of the week I just had. Ain't that always the way? So, at least it wasn't too bad. I just needed a couple of days to, away from streaming, because I would not have been able to speak with you guys. I had a job interview recently. Oh, sorry, I'm organizing my kitchen today. It sounds good. I had a job interview recently and I got a good raise. I've decided that after the wall event to take a break from ESO for a while. That's a shame. But as long as it's the right thing for you. I'll return after I see more information about the class changes coming. Sounds exciting. Agreed, yeah. I just hope the results are legit. In the meantime, I'm going to play some single-player games for a while. What do you have your eye on, koalas?
I think I understand what's going on. We should speak, adventurer.
Yeah, don't let them cover in dust like we all do. Speaking of single-player games, we are going to hop over and do some Cyberpunk in a little while, I think. Since ESO is down today, who's up for it? Bit of a return to Games Fest vibes. Yeah. Got my first flu since I was 3. Now I'm 48. My luck ran out. That is a pretty good run.
After witnessing that vessel speak, I fear I now understand.
Sadly, in the UK, the flu is inescapable. Like, I get it every year, 2 or 3 times, but I usually catch it from someone who's really sick, and then I just get a slight scratchy throat, or, you know, the swollen glands on either side of your throat for, like, one night, and that'll be it. So usually my immune system just kind of shrugs and goes like, huh? What was that? Well, I don't know, something. And then it's gone. I'm quite fortunate, but not always. Claire Obscure and Horizon Zero Dawn. That sounds fun. And Gareth Yonis in the combat announcement yesterday was freaking amazing. My only concern is that it's going to probably take very long. Yeah. Maybe over the course of 2026, but understandable, it's a massive undertaking. I hope they take a year, but I think it would suck if it took 18 months or 2 years, and there's a good chance that it will. I think that would be a real shame if they can't speed it up a bit.
Yes, a troublemaker.
What gets covered in dust? The single-player games, I think.
Keeps trying to escape through a connected body, but the attempts prove fatal every time. Out here in Apocrypha.
Alright, let's
Aye.
spin on with that. Man, this environment is... It gets me a little bit excited again for whatever we get next year. I can't help it. Whenever I revisit a very well done environment in ESO, and there's nothing
That
cooler
is
than
from
this.
Mandalum. I'll
Almost
prepare it for
nothing.
you.
Can't help but feel a little bit jazzed for what we might get to see next year. It's a little bit like whenever I play any single-player game that has an element of open world or fantasy to it, even something like Doom: The Dark Ages, which is nothing like Elder Scrolls, but especially things like Enshrouded, which many of us have played a bit more recently. It always gets me thinking about Elder Scrolls 6. And what's it going to look like? Just from a fidelity and graphics standpoint. Occasionally gameplay features as well. Like the things that you could reasonably do with an Elder Scrolls game that you couldn't do 14 years ago. Data on the PC, yeah, the games we buy and not play. This is very true, it is indeed, yeah. The pile of shame is real. Aaron, the games I buy never get covered in dust because they get covered in 5 layers of games, which act as dust protection. It's a dust prevention Ponzi scheme, isn't it, Aaron? Yeah, that's it.
I pray this isn't too disorienting. Let's discuss our next move. Welcome to the chorus.
Don't know why I don't remember this in my game experience.
At any rate, we call this the cognitive.
Oh, you don't remember this? It's not a main quest. This is where do we find this guy? I think it was just around here, just off the road, near the Stilled Shadows Way Shrine.
Welcome to the chorus, or its lowest levels at any rate. We call this the cognitive substrate. Few members of the chorus visit this place, but it connects to all the chorus's other regions. The perfect hiding place for a rogue mind, yes? To enter the chorus, every vessel signs a pact. You think of flimsy
I'm sure I did it. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Not so in
But it's off the
Apocrypha.
beaten path
It is
somewhat.
an
Zim the
anchor
Bard,
that
hello there.
binds
How
the
you
vessel's
doing?
mind.
Welcome on in. Nice to see you.
No one can
Happy
travel
Wednesday.
far from their pact, and whose Margot
And
has
then
a
Enshrouded
sword
is
that can
awesome,
take it
but
out.
every time I die and have to get my way back to get my gear that was dropped, I swear to God I will stop playing the game. You know you can turn that off. You can't, you have to leave the server, so like exit back to the main menu, and then you can, before you click play, if you're hosting your own, if you're playing on someone else's, obviously you have to get them to change it. But you can go into the server settings and change all kinds of difficulty. And if that's really pissing you off, just turn it off. I've left it on for the time being, but yeah, there have been a couple of times where I thought that's not fucking fair. I call bullshit on that. You haven't been doing it wrong. It's there for a reason. It's by default. They want you to have that. They want there to be consequences for death. Gareth Yolney, I love ESO so much, but I took a break recently, mostly because of all of the constant negative drama on the forums, Reddit, and I almost never go to the forums or Reddit for exactly that reason. I don't want to speak ill of any fellow ESO players, and individually, I bet there's almost no one that I would have any issues with. It's just not the way I am. I tend to see the best in people. I tend to enjoy finding common ground. But yeah, collectively, we're a bunch of morons. Or we can be, and you can see that represented best on Reddit and the ESO forums themselves. Man, there is so much claptrap spoken on there. And the people who do shout the loudest are usually the ones who are the most insane in terms of their disconnect from what the game actually, how it actually works, or just any kind of facts or nuance, or all the things that make communication intelligent and effective. So it's not the forum's fault, it's not Reddit's fault, it's no one's fault. It's just an emergent phenomenon that, yeah, these places get filled up with nonsense very, very quickly. Zone chat can be pretty bad as well. I've seen some really, really awful advice being given in zone chat in-game, and it's just like, wow. I don't know why the level of misinformation is so high. I guess it's a combination of the complexity of the combat system in the game, right? There's quite a high bar to enter in terms of info that we need to have a grasp on, and the fact that it's an MMO, so a very technical game, which has attracted a lot of players who aren't necessarily attracted to that technical side, i.e. Skyrim fans, like me. But whatever the reason, look, and I've talked about this many times, why is it? There's misinformation everywhere. Why is it so bad around ESO? Neither of us have a clear answer, but that's the best we've got, I guess. Yeah, Cooking Koala saying that is a smart move. Plus a good break makes coming back more rewarding. Yeah, that's true. Zimbaba. How you doing, Zim? Hope you're having a good one. Moronios, Tiagi, yeah. I was probably having a streamer on in the background and didn't pay attention. Maybe. Imagine that. Imagine that, Cooking Koalas. Zim the Morning Wood. What? Hello? Like me also. Just started ESO just because Skyrim. But I'm still here from beta. Yeah, well, there we go. I did not expect to like ESO. I just thought... I love the world and the world building of Elder Scrolls so much. There's no way I'm not getting this game. I'm paying attention. But I was like pre-disappointed. So the fact that ESO won me over at all, I still think is quite impressive. And I had said the level of misinformation in Auradon is especially high. Had a player said the Earth was round. It's flat, I have eyes and I can see it. That joke seems familiar. Oh, here we go. Sanity's Edge tech being used here. So these are, I think these come from Somerset. These are part of like the Slodes invasion. These things that look a bit like neurons. But they were used along the sky in Sanity's Edge to make it seem like we're inside Vanton's mind. Very clever.
There, this is our pact, yes? Have a look. It might tell us something. The Daggerfall Devil.
Cooking Koalas. WoW's forums are pretty toxic too. ESO's forums aren't even that toxic. The Reddit can be, but mostly it's just OakenSoul. It's when there are opinions which are silly but popular, and then people try to step in and sort of correct that way of thinking.
The Daggerfall Devil. Watcher, spare us. On the one claw, it makes
Yeah,
sense
WoW's
that
forums
the
are pretty
Fury
toxic too before I left for ESO. It just becomes that way with people who complain all the time and want to be heard because they can't solve the issues. I thought of that. Skinny was telling me that one of his more recent videos had, like, he posted a bunch of DPS, I think 2 videos at least, got updates, DPS guides, and they were just updates for, you know, update 48. Here's what's changed, here's what hasn't changed. And he said there was a much, much larger proportion of, like, negative, grumpy, whining type stuff than usual. I hope it's okay for me to say that. I mean, I'm guessing many of you watched the videos, right? And you may have seen the comment section. He wasn't complaining about it. He was just saying it's a thing. I'm just surprised to see it. I guess I can understand. It's a dissatisfaction with the combat system. But, like, why take it out on me? What did I do? And I completely agreed. I was like, yeah, that's insane. Shoot the messenger type stuff. But it just seemed like frustration with the fact that, oh, I'm generally not quite satisfied with the game, but it's hard for me to crystallize that into one very loud, very sharp complaint. So I'm just going to kind of make something up to get mad about. I don't know. I didn't read the comments. I just think that's the kind of thing that forums on the internet often turn into, right? They become a vehicle for something else. A little bit like bullying. You know, that dynamic has often got very little to do with the person being bullied, and it's more to do with the person doing the bullying. And I know this is pop psychology, but pop for a reason. I don't know, I view a lot of a lot of mass interactions on the internet very much like this. They're outlets for something else.
Seeing the boy cry made me smile.
Hey, Betty Badass, thank you for the name, thank you for the follow. Tiago Dragon Knight PvP, I need a build for that. I'm the worst person to create a character. You want to check out Bislobo. he recently started doing a pure class DK, and obviously he's a very good player, but he was loving the fact that he was just going around beating people like good players in duels with this set. So definitely check that out. I don't have a link for it, but you know where Bislobo is. You can find him, and if you're struggling to find the build itself, I'm sure you can ask him about it. So I'll give it, yeah. Oh yeah, I'll type it in here. Pretty sure that is the right one. Because it's Bislobo, but it's actually a capital I. Yeah, that's the guy. So it's actually Bis-Iobo. So it's easy to get that one wrong. But yeah, he's on right now. We could raid off to him later, maybe. Love that guy. He's a friend and just an awesome dude. And yeah, I just happened to be watching him streaming a couple of times recently where he's playing his pure class DK and having a lot of fun with it, having a lot of success with it. Obviously different strokes for different folks. Just because it works really well for one person, you might need to make tweaks to make it work as well for you, but you know. And I'll have a nice lurk while I write a thrilling section on Russia's international decisions through a structural realist lens. A structural realist. Okay. I think I get that. Have fun, people. Gift subs, redeem treats, and see you later when the servers are back up. Yes, please do gift subs, and please do redeem treats. The dog is looking at him. Oh, no. Oh, she heard me say the word treats. And I just said it again. The ears could not be more perky. Huh?
Sharp enough to cut bone.
Oh?
An artist never had a brush so delicate.
Can you hear who's Margot, friend? Who's Margot isolated the rogue mine?
Never Lord, I never stay in Auradon for more than 5 minutes. Cooking koalas. I like Oaken Saw, but I don't need it on all my tunes. Sometimes having a monster set and 2 bars really enjoyable. Yeah. Yeah, it's not about preference. It is about, it's when people say... The typical example is this. You get a person asking, is Oaken Soul still good? Perfectly reasonable question. Perfectly sensible question. And not that difficult to answer. You say, look, you can use it, but no, it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. So be careful. Make sure you check your facts. And yeah, but you say that on Reddit and you will get flamed by a couple of dozen people who, for some reason, are committed to the idea that Oaken Soul is best at everything. And the conversation just very quickly gets silly and frustrating. Which it shouldn't be. Like, it's a fucking video game. And it's a very easy thing to test as well. But yeah, people get very ideological about it as well. That's another thing with the Elder Scrolls community that feels particularly strong. I've fallen victim to it as well, definitely. It's definitely a thing that we can all be victims of. And when I say we can get ideological about it, it's not... What I mean is... It's not evidence-based, or it's not anything sort of rational. But we've done that thing where we think of ourselves as rational, even despite proof to the contrary. And therefore, when we have a gut feeling about something, we're reluctant to scrutinize it properly, or to brook any kind of criticism or questioning of it. For example, the people who refuse to use daggers because, no, it's a Magicka character. Magicka character cannot use daggers. The people who made the game say they can. Every other player knows they can. Why do you insist on sticking your head in the sand? That's what I mean about getting ideological about it. And it's one thing to just say, I'm going to play it the way I want to play it. But generally, when these people go on Reddit, it is to evangelize their particular perspective, you know? The Daggerfall Devil. So does this connect to the Daggerfall storyline? Because there is a Vermina presence in Daggerfall storyline. There's a lot of nightmare-related stuff. King Emmerich's nightmare, remember that bit? Bro had no DPS. Look at that. Yeah, Van Hender saying one of the main reasons I keep away from the forums, they remind me too much of the schoolyard. Yeah, good description. And Norilla, hello! Just started playing ESO. I wonder if the build, if I build a character simple, like two-handed weapon user warrior, is it work at endgame content? Well, yes. Short answer. Yes, you can really do pretty much whatever you want. You can use any combination of weapons. It's not that big a deal. Player execution and knowledge of giving your character what it needs in terms of your stats. So if it's a stamina character, make sure it has plenty of stamina, enough stamina recovery, but not like too much. Don't load stuff into health and armor that you don't need. These kind of things. That has much more of an impact on the effectiveness of your build than choosing this or that weapon. So don't worry about it. You can play with literally any of these. I wouldn't use sword and shield or restoration stuff for a damage character, because if you're by yourself, you won't need a sword and shield to stay alive. You won't need a restoration stuff to heal yourself. And if you're with a group, well, then you definitely won't need these things, because there'll be tanks, there'll be healers. But you can use any and all combinations of these, and you'll be fine. However, when you say end game, the more pressure the game and your group and you yourself put on your character to perform at the very highest level, the less room you have, the less freedom you have to play how you want. That's the problem with that mantra, play how you want. The devs are not wrong to say it. It's true. They have built a game, especially these days, where you can do whatever the fuck you like, and it's gonna work. The early game is extremely easy. Overworld is extremely easy, puts very little pressure on you, so you'll be able to get through. And you can continue on to a relatively high level without needing to make, like, major sacrifices, so long as your build isn't crazy. You know, so long as you haven't got all points in health and are trying to deal damage, or something like that, you'll be fine. But then, yeah, as you progress further into groups which they have an expectation that everyone's going to pull their weight, then, yeah, you might get people saying to you, could you run daggers, please? But no, I mean, I'm using a two-hander on the back bar, dual wield on the front bar. But you could totally use dual wield on the front. It's fine. Works great. Have fun with it. I hope that helps. And Cooking Koala, who the hell fights with a butter knife and a 50-pound shield? Seriously, get help. Well, thank you for that. And I wanted to get back to what Nogues was talking about. Yeah, aka Captain Massive Energy. Yeah, exactly. That's Bislova for you. So, sorry, Nogues. It took a few minutes. But if you allow me to say, I don't trust Zos anymore because of their actions and changes. Yeah, of course, you can say that. They have lost so many players. How do you know that? They definitely have. Don't get me wrong. We had people leave last year. I think a lot more people talked about leaving. I only know 2 people who left because of subclassing, and one of them's back. So I think a lot of people say, oh, I'm done with this game. But no, sorry, let me finish reading your comment. They lost so many players and also so many streamers that moved to other games. I don't trust Zos's judgment, actions, and promises anymore. Cujo Kills video resumes everything I feel about Zos. Resumes? I haven't seen Cujo's latest vid on this. But, I don't think you need to trust the developers. I don't know, the language that you're using sounds a little bit romantic or romanticized. This is a commercial arrangement. We pay for something that they provide, and we give feedback, and we try to make sure they give us something that we want to pay for, and they try to give us something that we will continue paying for. And that's how it works. It's purely transactional. Now, within that, there are issues of trust, and things they say they're going to do this. Well, you don't have to trust anything. The only time you should think about an issue of trust is when they've got a new product available. It's available to pre-order. Now, do you trust that by paying that amount, you're getting what they say you're getting? If you don't trust that, you don't buy it. If you don't trust that the pre-order bonus is what they say it is, you don't buy it. I don't really understand. I guess it's easy to fall down a bit of a rabbit hole and forget that this arrangement is not one of father and daughter, father and son, mother and so whatever. It's not a parental or an emotion-based relationship. This is purely transactional. And yeah, like if they put out an article like they did yesterday and you just don't believe what it says, that's fine. I don't think anyone at ZOS would be upset. They'd be disappointed that they've got themselves into a situation where they can say something publicly and there are some people who say, I don't believe you.
You did it.
But I think they were very careful in the article to be quite non-committal in a number of areas. They gave themselves a lot of wiggle room. So I think you probably can trust it because there's nothing in there that they're likely to walk back on. They were very careful not to give any timescales. You know, they didn't really give themselves anything to trip over. It was a very careful article. In a way which is slightly annoying, actually. As a consumer, sometimes you want... You'd wish the devs would just, you know, talk straight, shoot straight, tell us like it is. But they can't do that. You know, they're thinking of... Especially when it's a really big publisher, you've got to be very careful about what you put out there, what you say, what you put on the record. So yeah, these things are very, very carefully filtered. So I'd say you can probably trust it. If you're not talking about the article and you just mean in general, I don't really have any argument. Like I'm not going to try to convince you to trust someone that you don't trust. I don't feel like that's any of my business. But yeah, obviously sucks that a studio that sounds like you used to trust, and you don't anymore, that... I guess that sucks for you. No guess, but, yeah, feel free to elaborate. Like, what was it? What do they do that means you don't trust them anymore? I guess that might be something that I can actually then understand and address. And so many streamers moving to other games. A lot of streamers did some Guild Wars 2 stuff earlier this year because they were paid. Because Guild Wars 2 did a campaign where streamers could earn a little bit of money by streaming the game. The ESO category has gone quiet a bunch of times. So you could say it's the viewers that have sent them the streamers away, not the studio. That was obviously not. That's not quite correct. I wouldn't make that argument, but it's never quite as simple as it looks. Streamers do not leave because nor do they stay because of the game. They stay or leave because of the fucking viewers. I know a lot of streamers who will play a game they hate if they think it will get them viewers. And they will stop playing a game that they love if they think it won't. So I don't think that is a very good metric. Necessarily.
Ah, fresh air. Better, yes? According to my instruments, you made it out of the...
Yeah, it's a video game with video games and people go crazy many times. True, Tiago. Yeah, Deathmon weapon passives must be revisited. Yeah, that'll be fun, wouldn't it? I don't think they're too bad. I don't think any of them are that bad. We were having this conversation the other day, and Strafe Jump, no, the servers are not back up. This is PTS. Just messing around on PTS at the moment. I think the weapon passives are okay. Like bow, lightning staff, and daggers are all very, very close together. Actually, the main reason we all use daggers is cloak, and they're slightly better than bows. It's a combination of excellent passives, 2 enchantments, so you know, an extra status effect often, and cloak. That's really it. If you can't run cloak, then you're often better off with a bow or a lightning staff. People think that because we all use daggers, they must be 10 times better. No, they're a tiny, tiny, tiny bit better. And it's the same with Arcanist and everything else. Whenever something is the meta, it's usually not better by a large margin. It's usually a tiny margin, but it's magnified by the fact that everyone goes for it. Like if you're buying a TV from the store and you see 2 TVs identical to one another in every way, one costs $100, the other one costs $98. Which one are you going to take? It's not because one is an amazing deal and the other one is a shit deal. They're almost the same. And if the $98 TV is sold out, $2 extra, fuck it. You'll take that one. Oh, they have the $98 one of the store down the road, but then you have to drive down and get it. Screw it. $2? I'm just going to get the expensive one. You know, it's all it takes is a tiny difference for us to make these decisions en masse. And yet, even though the TV example any idiot could understand very quickly, for some reason we get really silly with classes in video games and the meta, especially in this game. Zoskin, we've had patches where the meta has been pretty tight. But there's still one thing which comes out on top, and people get mad because, oh, it's, you know, there's nothing is worth playing except Dragon Knight, or Nightblade is shit because it's not meta, and we exaggerate to ourselves and each other, and it creates a lot of dissatisfaction, which the devs must be watching and going like, what? Must be a little bit confused. One with the left, one with the right. Yeah. Paul, not Canadian. I name my daggers bread and butter. Yeah. 2026 is starting crazy, koalas. What games should I play? Guild Wars 2 and Enshrouded first, and whatever else you played last year. Sounds good to me. Enshrouded is a lot of fun at the moment. I'm a little concerned about the story. Like, because they're due to release next year. I really want them to find a way to actually have a point to the world. This is always the problem with like a survival type game. I play it for a certain amount of time and then I wonder, but why am I actually here? Like, there's no story being told. I would love to see them find a better foothold there. But man, the systems in that game, the look of it, the things to do, it's wonderful. It's a really lovely achievement. They did good. And I wish them every success when they do finally do a full launch in 2026. But I do hope that's an area that they will focus on. And Strafe Job, did the project they've been working on for the Elder Scrolls series get cancelled? I don't know what you mean. Who's they? Yep, a lot of breakfast, been awake for more than 8 hours. Welcome back, Gilly. And Reptex, for a new beginner player, do you have a recommendation for a class? Want to play all the PvE stuff mostly by myself and some dungeons in a group. I got this question just earlier. I was saying it doesn't really matter because anything can do anything, so you're good. However, Arcanist gives you Herald of the Tome, probably the most popular skill line right out of the gate. So you'll have an easier start. But more long-term, at the moment, Nightblade is probably the most versatile class overall. Because if you're playing a DPS, in PvE or PvP, chances are you might want Assassination. And if you're playing any kind of support anywhere, you probably want Siphoning. Now, Herald of the Tome, Curative Rune Forms aren't far behind. But like almost any damage setup uses Assassination at the moment. You can use it passively, actively, it just works. Siphoning is just great for supports. But there are plenty of other skill lines that are really, really solid as well. And they are changing this next year. But yeah, I'd probably say Arcanist, Nightblade. You could also make the case that Templar is a good starting point, because 2 of these skill lines are very desirable for a DPS and fun to use. Sorcerer, because it has Storm Calling in it, which is so great for solo play. But yeah, I think Arcanist or Nightblade be a good one. The Elder Scrolls game that was announced ages ago. Okay, so Strafe Jump, very quickly. Bethesda Game Studios and ZeniMax are very different. Bethesda Softworks owns a whole bunch of studios. One of which is ZeniMax Online Studios. Bethesda Softworks also owns Bethesda Game Studios, which is Todd Howard's studio that made Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, Fallout 3 and 4, etc. They are still making Elder Scrolls 6. But it's probably a couple of years away, maybe minimum. Todd is constantly doing interviews about other stuff, and he always says the same thing. It's a long way off. ZOS, ZeniMax Online Studios, they're working on content for 2027 already. Because that's just how they do. And they've got a load of stuff for us in the pipeline for the Elder Scrolls Online for 2026. We don't know anything about that yet. We know that they've said something about the Dark Brotherhood. And I think we're going to find out more about that in January. But yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. Elder Scrolls Online is getting more stuff in the new year. But yeah, Reptex, hope that was helpful. And Archmage Azdara, thank you for the follow. And Anox, hello. Gareth Yolnir, my wish is to one day be able to have a sword and shield build that can perform just as well as these crazy meta builds. And be able to solo everything. I mean, you can do it. But it's never going to perform as well. It cannot. It's never going to work as well because of the amount of defensive power they have. It wouldn't make any sense for them to give it equal offensive power to something like dual wield or bow, when it has so much of its power budget already is spent on other stuff. But yeah, you can make sword and board DPS builds just for fun, and they can work fine. And a build does not have to be meta to be effective. Absolutely not. And Strafe Jump saying, okay, I was wondering because I'd heard something about the entire dev team got fired or quit or was sold. Okay, so ZeniMax Online Studios, who made this MMO, they did start work a few years ago on a second MMO. But obviously, people have been saying, oh, ESO is dying, ESO's in maintenance mode. They've been saying that since 2014 when the game launched. So, of course, when this first started, I think it was 2021 or 2, when they first announced, yes, we're working on something else. But they didn't tell us what it was or anything like that. We know that Microsoft loved how it looked. Phil Spencer apparently played it and was late for his next meeting because they had to tear the controller out of his hands. He was like, this is sick, this new thing you guys are working on. That was cancelled earlier this year. Nothing to do with Elder Scrolls. Well, it might have been, but we're fairly certain it wasn't ESO 2 or another Elder Scrolls Online type game. It wasn't that. So that, yes, that did get cancelled, and everyone who was on that team was made redundant, which fucking sucked. Because it was just too... It was a balance sheet decision. Doesn't seem like an actual long-term strategic decision, or that it had anything to do with the value of these people, or the work that they had done, or were going to do. So that's what happened. I see, that well still sucks. I'm such a fan of their combat system in these games. Yeah, it sounded like the only thing we know about it is that it had a lot of interesting traversal mechanics. So I'm thinking grappling hook type stuff, maybe climbing, like Dune Awakening has a lot of really cool ways to traverse the landscape. You can climb, almost anything in that game. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about Dune Awakening, actually, was that. Because it was just really fun to explore. The fact that I could go around this, or I could just straight up start climbing it. Man, this enemy is so horrible. Look how many little critters there are there. Oh, they already despawned. Damn it. Beautiful spider, though. Beautiful coloration on that thing. Likes to play catch. Some people just jump ship to the next flavor of the month. It's true. Hyperioxy's actually set up a sword and board build for soloing stuff. He did, yeah. I'm getting an alarm. That's Maya. Valerina, good morning. Hello, hello. Alright, I need to deal with something on my phone real quick. I'll keep talking to you guys. But yeah, Ballorda's right. You could check that out. Absolutely. But you just try it. Just make sure you're not building for survivability. Build for damage. Alright, well, let's switch to Cyberpunk. Maya's also just reminded me of something that I need to get done this afternoon. So we should probably switch games real quick. Let me do that. So thank you for joining me on PTS. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to switch games real quick. This is a game that we love. You guys love it too, from what I can tell. Let me just change the category here on OBS. But we can keep talking about ESO. We can talk about anything you guys want. I'm just here to hang out with you lot, really. Okay, gotta change the category. It's quite nice. I don't have to type as much to put in Cyberpunk. Just put in cyber, and the first thing that comes up is the correct game. When it's Elder Scrolls, you type in Elder, and a million things come up that you don't want. Literally have to type out The Elder Scrolls Online, and then it will appear. And Van Hander was saying I'm a shadow scale in plate with a two-handed sword, but then again, my goal is to have fun. I play it as a single-player game. Play wrong because I'll be Ash before Year 6 comes out. Yeah, I mean, don't gimp yourself. Like, don't make bad build decisions unnecessarily. But yeah, do play. Like, if you want to try a certain thing, do it. Don't let people tell you not to do it. Unless, you know, you are... If you're joining people in dungeons, in group content, and you bring a build which is, like, completely whack, then, yeah, that's not a good look. It's rude. And I would agree, then, that we should not necessarily be slaves to the meta, but we should at least be moving in the same direction as the river. You know, go with the flow kind of thing. But, yeah, like, if you're solo, who the hell cares? Come up with whatever you want. It doesn't have to work amazingly, as long as it works, I think. Oh, you can hear it. Alright, so I've switched category. We're now in Cyberpunk. Let me just flip the screen in a moment here. And let's catch up on comments in the meantime. Yeah, Reptex, thank you very much. No worries at all. Pleasure. Glad to help. I hope that was helpful. And like to play catch saying you can do a large amount of damage with a sword and shield when it's tailored properly. Well, there we go, yeah. Yeah, let me just change that. There we go. Right, we're going to start a new game. Just a regular start. Maya wants to do a very hard, like a psycho level playthrough of this game. If any of you haven't played it, you're in for a treat. Stick with us. We're going to stay with ESO, but what we're going to do is visit Night City on the regular. And we're just going to come back to a brand new playthrough and do a 100% on this thing. Because it is emerged as one of our favorite games, despite its awful launch. And I want you guys to help me out. I'll play any of these. The one I've done the least is probably Corpo, but I'll do what chat wants me to do. If you want a nomad,
Roaming the Badlands, looting scrapyards, raiding fuel depots. Life on the road wasn't easy, but growing up in a nomad clan has its perks. Honesty, integrity, and a love of freedom. Qualities that a few in Night City possess, and no amount of money can buy.
I might need to turn down the volume, right? It's a little bit loud. Sorry about that. So we've got Nomad, Street Kid.
They say if you want to understand the streets, you gotta live them. Gangs, fixers, dolls, small-time pushers, you are raised by them all. Down here, the law of the jungle dictates the weak serve the strong. The only law in Night City you have yet to break.
And Corpo I don't really know anything about. Few leave the corporate world with their lives. Fewer still with their souls intact. Ha! You've been there. You've bent the rules, exploited secrets, and weaponized information. There's no such thing as a fair game. Only winners and losers. Alright guys, hit me. I won't pick one until I get at least 3 people saying the same thing. So let's go. Gareth Yorday, am I the only one that's really bummed about the cancelled Secret Zos MMO? Nope, you're not the only one. Mostly because I had a feeling it was a Starfield MMO. I freaking love Starfield. Could be wrong though. Strafe Jump says Corpo. What do you guys think? You're definitely not the only one. And Valerina, hello again. Jiggity, hey, 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 how's it going? No, guess, I'm sorry I can't elaborate with just a few paragraphs. No, that's fine. It's difficult, isn't it? I hear what you're saying. I'm really sorry that you're, that you've been, like, I can sense the tone that you're just bummed out by the fact that the studio's trying to communicate with you and you're like, well, I can't take it seriously anymore. That sucks. Van Hender, you're starting over, then I'll stay. I've just started too, just bought it a few days ago. It is one of my favorite games ever, and I was so angry with them when they fucked up the launch. Like everyone was. It is an unbelievable rags to riches story. Much like the game itself. Hey. Played Nomad and Street Kid, never Corpo. So we got 2 votes for Corpo here. One for Streets. Came by and straight to Khan's voice acting. Hey, Radical. Voice acting, that's very kind of you. The voice acting in this game is pretty sick. I'm going to make a lady character for that reason. I've played the female V a lot less. And, so yeah, Valerina, good timing for you to show up. The female V's name is Valerie. Although, it never comes up. Victor and Valerie, I think? Oh, we got lots of votes for the Street Kid. Alright, so it's not going to be a Corpo. Let's do it. I'm not going to spend ages on this. Dangerous. Any idea if the cross-platform update to ESO is still coming? It's not even confirmed that they were ever working on it. They are seeing whether it's something they can do. They are actively looking into that. Yeah, we go with a lady. I keep wanting to right-click to rotate. That's not how this works. I want to go with some crazy, crazy hair. Because whenever we ride the bike around town, I want to see that shit. Oh, that's pretty good. No, I don't think so. That one's a bit low-key, but pretty decent. Man, the hair in this game. Great hair. Likes to play catch. This is one of the few games I've always had on my radar, just never got around to buying. Well, hey, maybe you can play it vicariously through us, or maybe even we could tip you over the line next time it's on sale. And sorry, let's go back to No Guess. Saying, sorry I can't elaborate just a few paragraphs. I've been playing for 11 years. Wow, longer than me. Although, yeah, I guess I was on and off between 2015, 2017. Took a little bit of a break there, but yeah, I guess maybe I could say I've been playing 11 years, yeah. So, I know the game right from day one, and I've gone through everything wrong Zos did. When you can, please watch Cujo Kills video. It's just 6 minutes. I like Cujo, I've got time for her, so, yeah. A funny timing, though, to post about, like, how much we hate Zos or whatever just after yesterday's announcement. I think I'm going to be silly and go with this. We should actually have a look at all of them before we pick one. That's an extremely Fallout hairdo, isn't it? This one here. That is very Fallout. Not the color, but... Man, some of these are completely insane. I do quite like the fro. That's pretty badass. Can we randomize? Yeah, Deathmond is saying I agree. I'll need to watch the short. It's like 20 euros in Steam Store right now. Wow. Yeah, I mean it's worth that, I will say. I've played 3 platforms on and off for the best out of 10 years, but although I agree with lots of Cujo's opinions, I've grown to love the game more and more recently. Found my forever home with the best community I've ever had the privilege of being a part of. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not going to agree with this video. I don't think I've ever... Cujo's like a PvP bomber, right? So she has a very different segment of the player base that she interacts with compared to me. Also console. Very different beasts. What do we do? Should we go with the... I quite like that one. Let's go with that for now. I think you can quite easily change these later. Hey, thanks for the follow, Strafe Jump. Welcome on in. I'm not sure about that scar. And she's a street kid, so... We want some subtle cyberware, nothing too crazy, I think. Yeah, like something like that. Piercings, those will work. You can go really crazy with this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make you guys sit there for that entire thing. Well, that looks lame. There we go, that'll do. Khan's dodgy fashion choices. Yeah, she'll do for now. We're not going to mess with the boobs. So yeah, what are we going to... Probably going to build into cool. I like cool, technical ability, and intelligence. Yeah, let's start with that. Oh, was there nothing... Is there more body options further down? Yeah, we just didn't even get there. Fair enough. This is the funny bit, man. You can select penis size. It's cool that it's there. Don't get me wrong. That's great. Nipple type, like... We'll go with default on that one. On nail color, Maya would be disappointed if we didn't give her some funky ass nails. Yeah, there we go, that'll do. That's cool. That's fun. Alright. I think we're good to go. Hamburger patty nipple type, yeah. And we were not going to be spending a lot of time looking at that. It's not going to be that kind of playthrough. Well, maybe. So we say Street Kid. So we're right at the beginning here. Oh, so she's a lefty.
A little anesthesia.
You start the game by resetting your broken nose. Love it. Is the audio a little bit quiet, guys? What do you think?
Some bastard tried to mug me. I handled it.
Vezok, what's happening? Hey, man. We're playing some Cyberpunk. Just started a brand new
Somebody
playthrough.
local tried to mug me.
Maya wanted big boobs, though. Oh, she probably did, to be fair. We could change it later.
I got a problem. Serious.
How you doing, Reticle? Body options further down, yeah. Spit it out.
Come on, spin it. What is it now?
Yeah, it is a little low. Alright, let's, I thought it was. Let's pump it up to 80.
It's Kirk. I owe him. Don't
My
pay
first
for
playthrough
tomorrow,
was Street
so he
Kid.
bust my
Nice.
legs.
I think my first was Nomad.
Don't joke about that stuff.
Hey, Creature6, welcome on in. Thank you very much for the follow.
Every man, woman, and rat in Haywood knows he's a fucking shark.
My bro jumped the joint. Deserved a hero's welcome. I know I fuck up, V.
You ever gonna get wise, Pepe?
The female V voice actor, the guy who does the male voice actor, I forget the name.
You know.
He's really
So,
good.
Can you help?
But female V, she puts a little bit of her own stank on things. It feels like she projects a bit more character, whereas the male V, he keeps it a little bit more neutral, keeps it a little bit loose. She really goes for it, and I love it. It makes the character really kind of come to life.
I'll talk to Kirk, but then you're gonna owe me one.
I don't even know where you begin with that shit. First time in Night City, pay close attention to the Oh.
He's a good boy.
You're saving my life.
Just
V.
lacks direction.
Truly.
Demons walk with him. They tear at his soul. But I'll tell him you're sorry and wish to make peace.
Reticle, okay, a lot of work, so I've been rather busy recently. Nice. I hope you get some time to breathe in between. That's what I freaking need. I just had some time to breathe after a crazy, crazy week, and I got sick because the week was that crazy. So that was a little bit. That made me feel like an asshole.
Today. Javi's got some broken ribs, but praise
Jesus, the bullet didn't hit any organs.
What happened?
I also have good news, guys. Next year,
They were chasing.
at the latest, so beginning of 2026, you are going to see a little bit of a jump in quality on these streams, I hope. Because we are getting a second machine to stream from. So rather than the 2 PCs, we're going to have 3. No, we got 4 in here, we're going to have 5. 2 of them are max, though, so...
Hey, Kirk. Want to talk?
V, been a while? Spin it. What you need?
Oh, I love he's such a douche, this guy. Has he got, like, the stocks on the inside of his shades or whatever?
Hand over the Eddies yourself? Tell him I don't bite. Not yet.
Do you know what I mean? That's so, like... He's not paying any attention or doesn't understand shit, but he just wants everyone to see that, yeah, I'm like, I'm into crypto and I've got my portfolio, I've got to keep an eye on it.
Hell's your problem? What's he owe you?
Afraid that's client confidentiality. Call it a lot and leave it at that.
A cred shark with business ethics.
As for voice acting, I've heard that Masculine V sounds a bit like Jesse Pinkman.
Well,
He kind of does. Pinkman's a little bit more, you know, like Aaron Paul's performance as Jesse Pinkman. It's a little bit more breathy. Yo, Mr. White, you know. But this guy is a bit more. He's a bit more mumbly, you know. Right. But yeah, it does have a bit of Pinkman vibes to him. You're not wrong.
Cut him some slack, will ya?
Got any
Go
favorite
play.
cyberware?
Just need some more
The tendons, the double jump.
Do I look like a priest that runs a charity to you? You borrow Eddies. You gotta
Easily
pay
my
him back.
favorite.
With
It just,
interest.
it's
common
low key, but it
fucking
opens up
knowledge.
so many
You
places
suggesting I let a
to
flaky
get
cunt
to
who can't keep
in
a
terms
deal
of level
off the
design, but also in the overworld, like the game
Let him off
itself.
because it's me.
You can
Has to.
climb up skyscrapers and shit like that
You
with
know
these
me.
things.
I'm a man of the biz, so I need to know what I get out of it.
I'm a man of the biz.
Know what, Kirk? I sometimes get the impression you forget you aren't from around here. Pop into Haywood for the occasional visit, sure. But you live far, far away in Pacifica.
What are you getting at?
Getting at, you probably need to think before you start something with a local son.
I'm open to other options.
What's this?
Grab a look.
Erondite is a sword from The Witcher. For those who don't know, this is immediately CD Projekt like winking at us and going, huh? Yeah?
Scream sheet. Scope it out.
Scope it out. And Reticle, I have a small vacation in January, so I get some time to rest and chill. And honestly, I'll just bed rot as much as possible. I need it. Yeah, for me, it would probably be a few lions, but a lot of just like chilling, gaming, movies.
Scope it out.
Maybe going for longer walks with the dog. Very, very chill stuff. I don't think I would use the time to go anywhere or do anything particularly interesting. And have I sorted out the volume now? You guys can hear what they're saying when I'm not talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cream ride there on the page. Only 4 of them in NC as of now. 1, Rayfield Regional Director. 2, Mayor Ryan. 3, a rental service.
Uh-huh. And
512
Number
kilometers
4
per
will belong to
hour.
my client, just as
And
soon as you
100K
clap for me, that is.
from 0 to 100 in 1.9 seconds. Hang on, let's read this, motherfucker. I've never done this. Car of the Month, The Legend of Erondite. Rayfield Erondite is a front-engine, four-wheel drive hypercar designed, developed, and manufactured in Goodwood, UK. It was named after the legendary sword of Sir Lancelot du Lac. Erondite is the record holder of the fastest street-legal production car with a top speed of 512 kilometers per hour, and acceleration from a standstill to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.9 seconds. Hex turbocharged V16, 12.4 engine outputs, blah 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 blah. Erondite has a windowless body design, providing absolute protection and privacy for the passengers. External view is projected inside the cabin using Rayfield's Crystal Dome technology. That's a fun little bit of extra detail.
Kinda in a rush here.
Ah, shut up, Kirk.
I do this, and Pepe's debt is squared.
And Creature 6 saying in the Corpo intro there's a magazine with Ciri and Geralt on it in V's desk drawer. I don't think I ever saw that.
Simple.
That's awesome.
You
Also, I
swipe
hear
the Rayfield
Cyberpunk
for
2
me,
is going to take place
I
in
clear Pepe's
Chicago.
account.
I had not heard that.
For you, I'm such a nice guy.
That would be writing
Rick
stories
works
for
fucking sponsored by
Cyberpunk 2.
Embers, club where
I
Rayfield
don't know if I'd be
likes
any
to
good
take.
at it.
There every
But if I
Friday
were,
night, like clockwork.
That I would count that
Soon
up as
you
like
appear,
dream job
security
territory.
cam shut down, gate swings up, the road is yours. Just gotta grab
Because
the
if it's
Rayfield
anything
and
like this
roll out.
game, this is like an
Simple.
unparalleled narrative experience in a lot of ways. It's incredibly expensive to produce. I'm not saying this is the right way to make games or the best way to make games,
Kinda in a rush here.
but when a studio can do it and do it right, yeah, this game has really knocked my socks off repeatedly. So honestly, shit plan.
Plan sounds shaky as fuck.
Oh, how so?
Sounds like you're looking for a sucker.
I'd love to go back to Night
This ain't
City,
no
but yeah,
setup.
maybe
Heard you got a good
different
head.
city would
Maybe we
be-
help each other make a few eddies.
would be the way to go.
Who's the owner?
Just an Arasaka suit from across the water. Spews cash out of every hole in his body.
And his name?
How would
Yeah,
I
to think
know?
Cyberpunk
Why
went from
would
a
I
flop
care?
at launch to having a
It's
cult
hot
following.
item, and I know where to
Exactly,
find
man.
it.
That's it. I mean, I think it was going to have a cult following either way, but the fact that the reviews came and the players kept
rush
coming,
here.
it's made more money than The Witcher 3 did in the same time frame. If that makes sense. So Witcher 3 still made way more, but it was like 6 years earlier, or whatever it was.
And your man Rick?
Trust him like my own brother.
How am I supposed to do this? Expect me to slide under the chassis on a skateboard?
And Van Hender saying
quick
beeline for
hot
double
wire,
jump. That is
fast
all the
and
advice
easy?
I got when I started. Well, there we go.
Feels like this got security systems. Good ones.
Sounds like your friends and I think alike.
This bitty bop works like the key Rayfield techs use for repairs. Opens locks, bypasses identity authorization.
A skeleton key for all Rayfields in the city. Oh, come on, Kirk. Even you don't buy that.
Kabuki's tech wizards sell more magical shit than this under the counter. Have a little faith. So, we all agreed then.
So are you guys pumped for this? Would you stick around and see me and Maya play this shit on a weekly basis?
Always said
It's
you
not going to
were
replace ESO, like I said. We'll
Head to Embers in the
we'll
Glen.
start and
Lives
stay
in the garage. Be
in
waiting for
ESO.
you. You two will hit it off. Good luck out there. We'll be in touch.
There's way more stuff you can do. You can like hang around and talk to everyone. I guess there's one person we could talk to.
Bullshit. The cabron is best in his way.
Oh, she's still here? Oh, we may have missed our opportunity to talk to Mama Wells.
Japanese dude? A boxer? Please.
Oh, whatever.
Can't fuck him up if you can't hit him.
Not important. The sense of place and atmosphere, it is so wild. The amount of stuff that different people had to work on. So many different artists, developers, programmers, voice actors, all of that shit. So much of it is present in like every frame. It just kind of knocks me down when I think about it. And that's true for all video games, really. So it's a crazy amount of things that have to come together to make it work. But especially in like a AAA game with this much production value and this much detail. Like just the clutter.
Yep, no place like home.
The priest with the body in the trunk. I love it.
Sebastian Ibarra. Haven't changed a smidge.
No one calls me by my name anymore. Almost forgotten how it sounds.
Radical, I need to do a second playthrough of this. I've only played it once on launch. Liked and enjoyed it even back then.
Nothing ever changes here.
Oh man, you will be delighted
About you.
by some of the quality of life changes they've made. Not to mention bug fixes and so on.
I'd rather hear about you.
By some of the quality of life changes they've made. Not to mention bug fixes and so on. 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 Not to mention b Yeah, I recommend picking a different, maybe pick the opposite gender and just a different life path. It doesn't make that much difference, but it'll change the flavor of a few encounters in a fun way. Gareth Yolnir, ESO is my favorite. I'd love to see you play anything, TBH. Oh, Gareth, thank you, man. That's awesome. That's really kind of you to
Got
say.
back from Atlanta a few weeks ago.
And Reticle, I spec into pistols and stealth. Hell yeah. What other weapon type playstyle's fun for you guys? Maya likes bullet hell. She likes just...
Marcus, let's go.
There's a really insane passive later on where you can have... You got your 3 weapons, right? And Maya's favorite... I confess, I can see the appeal of this. She likes to have like a machine gun in one hand, like a submachine gun, and then like a tech automatic weapon in the other. And there's a passive you can get, like a perk later on, where weapon swapping instantly reloads. So you don't stop to reload the gun, you can just be like spraying bullets, like hundreds of bullets per minute. And all you need to do just before the magazine runs out is that you weapon swap to the other machine gun that you've got and just keep going. Like a crazy gangster in that movie Kevin watches in Home Alone. Keep the change, you filthy animal. So she likes that. I like sniper rifle and stealth, personally.
So where to?
Edge Runners, highly recommend it. Yeah,
Drop me
saw
off
that.
at Embers.
It's good, isn't it?
Front door?
Take the ramp back of the bar. Show you where to stop.
It's Christmas time. Treat yourself. Nice. Thanks, Shapeless. Gareth Yolnir, Cyberpunk has been on my wish list since release. Just scared that I buy another game that ends up unplayed.
Has been good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Busy already?
2 years gone by, not much has changed.
You know Haywood. It has strong roots, ever watered by the same blood. Now, tell me about you.
I'll pick up something here and there. Nothing major. But I'm getting by. Appreciate the concern.
The faces.
So, Atlanta.
It's not even the level of fidelity. It's just the... everything that is animated is just right. Like a guitar solo that's like sparing, but just on point.
As you can see, I'm back. If it had been better there, wouldn't have left.
Shit.
Maybe it'll all work out for the best. Stop the car.
I have a video game backlog. Radical one that goes back to 2013, so I really feel you. Yeah. A Creature 6 and 8 random details. The corpo who owns the Erendite appears during the Killing Moon quest, standing next to the car. Yes, I think I was aware of that one.
Sebastian Ibarra. Looks like it's my lucky day.
What do you want?
To settle our biz, once and for all. Got an offer for you, Patty, so listen up. Get the fuck out of Vista. Pull your boys off the street.
The little smile.
I'll give you the Glen. Done deal. No more restless nights. See how generous I can be? Well,
One more
Patty,
fucking word.
stay out of this. I don't know you.
And I don't know you, which means you're worth shit around here and capable of even less.
Oh.
Well, anything else?
It seems our conversation has come to a close.
Careful, Padre. Never know who's got a barrel at your 6. You neither, shit bucket.
Marcus, please.
I like that. Like, you don't have to step to the guy, but the fact that you can, like, immediately, it does so much world building in one go.
Still have the gift. So many of the little shits left around here.
Oh, great guy. Hey, giving Floops a treat. Thank you. Yeah, who was that douchebag?
Who is that?
No one important. He'll be
Gareth
down
Yolnir just finished downloading and patching ESO launcher. Server's not up yet, though. No, a couple of hours, I would say at least.
He did. And he will pay for doing so.
This is a thing that, if for those who haven't played it, it's a thing the game does a lot.
Pull up here.
Often to great effect. They will take you on a little
Just drop down
tour.
below.
through the city in like a scripted
Here, before you go.
car journey. It is still possible for accidents to happen. Like my game once bugged out something hilarious
Take ourselves back 2 years.
because there was
Thanks, Padre.
somebody bumped into the car that I was driving in. I wasn't in control. The game was
So
like,
go with God.
it's a cop that you meet later. But yeah, very, very funny. And absolute chaos ensued. Stinks of atmosphere, I heard a streamer say. I think he's got it there. Yeah, that is a good line. Agreed. Yeah, don't be scared of the inevitable.
It is inevitable. Do not be afraid.
V? Status.
On location. About to find your man.
Rick's one of the good guys, you'll see. I trust him like a brother.
Yeah, so you said.
I love the way this Kirk character is styled as well. Like, he doesn't look like he's gonna particularly screw you over or anything, but he's definitely not the big dog that he thinks of himself as, wearing his little, like, I don't even know what that is. This little raincoat thing.
Yeah. Something I can help you with.
Yo, Rick.
You, Rick?
Yep. You with Kirk?
Yep.
You think you would live in Night
Cameron's
City? I think I would die in Night City.
You got 20 minutes.
Well, I have got treats for the floofs on my desk now. Great, Kirk. Thank you for that. Alright, so we've got to find this car. Shouldn't be that difficult.
I see the ride.
Oh, there we go.
Your moment to shine, kiddo. Good luck.
Let's take this piece of wonder tech for a whirl.
You're a woman of little faith.
Don't talk crap about Grey Kirk.
We're rich. Now fire her up and call me when you're underway. I'll tell you where to go.
I've got them on my desk. I'm going to deliver those to the floofs
Like this will be a cool breeze.
in just a little bit when I give them lunch. Thank you for that, Grey Kirk. Appreciate it. Big sea bag energy.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Wow.
Fuck!
You can drive. Now out.
What are you doing?
Chingados.
So often when this character swears, he just slips into Spanish.
You're under arrest.
Stay where you are!
Hands where I can see them. Nice and slow.
On the ground, motherfuckers, now!
Whoops, so our careers as a mercenary, not off to a great start.
Jackie Wells, my old pal from the hood. See you haven't grown an ounce wiser.
Hey, Detective Stintz. Been a while, huh?
Inspector Stintz.
Same shit.
Speaking of, your mug's familiar too.
This fucking guy.
Come on, spit it out. I'm waiting.
Yeah? Yours ain't to me.
Left for Atlanta, looking for a slice of happiness. Guess you didn't find it. I've always maintained it's the same for all you termites in Haywood. Born here, live here, die here. Looks like I was right. Rat got your tongue?
Enough of the chatter. What now?
Getting booked. Gonna do a stint.
The music.
Get it?
They're very good at this as well. It's like getting you into a plausible situation where you're still in control of the camera, but you can't move for a reason that makes sense. Often it's because you're like leaning on a wall talking to someone, and then they will just set out a beautiful, beautiful scene in front of you. Like the way this guy's got the dry ice, the lighting, the way the siren, the blue and the red lights are hitting the ceiling.
It's a waste of effort. I have no time to testify or play it on an investigation.
Suggesting we let him go, sir?
I suggest you toss them in the sea. Cuff leg's broken so this trash doesn't float.
Well, that's not good. But yeah, the game does that a lot. And it doesn't make you feel like you're being... like the controller's being taken away from you. But yeah, there are a lot of the really intense moments are more scripted than you'd necessarily feel like. So she just set her broken nose, then got it fucked up again.
Things looked iffy. Wasn't sure we'd worm out of that alive.
Same. Sten's
What would you say is your favorite life path in the game?
Though he does have a little honor left.
Really think his sense of honor
I think the
saved us?
street kid appeals to me the most because
And the
it's...
fact he's Haywood
but
born
I haven't
and
done the
bred like
corpo
us.
thing.
If I hadn't come, you'd be cruising Night City in sexy wheels right now.
No, come on. Job was toxic from the start. Even Kabuki under-the-counter magic can't get around an alarm like that.
Alright, well, I'm very, very sorry, guys, but we are going to have to leave it there for today. I just don't have any more time. Thank you so much for the follow, Kusaru.
Jackie Wells.
How's it going? And Shapeless going to have to buy some wood to get my street... Oh, nice. Street recycle
You hang at
desk.
the Coyote.
Get it started. Alright, well, we're going to have to leave it there, guys. I'm sorry, we just bumped into Jackie, but we will pick it up exactly here. We made our character, picked our life path, got the little tutorial bit out of the way. There's still a little bit left, but we're about to get into the game proper. So, I guess while I find somebody to raid to, we can
Wait, Wells? Like, Mama Wells? Thought I
continue the
recognized
convo.
name.
She's my blood, all right. Coyote's her dive. It's strange you and I never met before.
Got the job to steal those wheels at the Coyote. From Kirk.
You work with that sewer slug?
That guy isn't big.
There he is. I love this guy. Great voiceover, great character design, just awesome. Right, so we're going to raid off to Bislobo, guys.
Around like that.
Heard what they say. He's backed by cartels.
Bislobo is an awesome, awesome streamer. He's a friend as well. He's running some PvP right now in the Elder Scrolls Alliance. Stick around. You will not believe this man's energy and enthusiasm. He's great, great company. He'll appreciate your company as well. So, one, don't go anywhere. We are going to stay with the stream. You're going to say hi to Bis for me. You're going to make a lot of noise in his channel. Please, please do. Thank you for the... There we go. Ninja Balls Raid. Thank you so much, Erin. Copy the bouncy one if you're a subscriber to the channel. The non-bouncy one if you are not. And paste that into Biss's chat. We're going to raid him right now. Have a great afternoon. I'll catch you guys later. Bye!
Come on. No fear. Trust me.